Live from Hard Rock Stadium, it's the first game of the preseason. The Miami Dolphins and the Atlanta Falcons.
And you can play catch once the storms pass outside Hard Rock Stadium, inside the first preseason game of the season, as the Falcons and the Dolphins battle. A lot of new faces 2019, starting with the head coach in Brian Flores, and that includes our booth, where we have very popular Hall of Famer Jason Taylor joining Bob Greasy and I. Two Hall of Famers here. Great to be with them as we start a new year. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Let's start this new face thing, starting with Brian Flores, and you've watched some practices. What are your general impressions?
Well, when you have a new change, a new culture comes in, and a whole new philosophy. And I love where he's going with this. He wants tough, physical, and smart football players. And he doesn't care where you came from, whether you're a first-round draft pick or you're a free agent. There's certain things you have to do. Number one is not shooting yourselves in the foot and controlling the things that you can control, and I love that.
All right, we have the experienced Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback, and the second-year Josh Rosen. The quarterback battle is on, Mr. Greasy.
It's about time. Let's play some football, huh? Yes, but Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in, 16 years in the league, 36 years old. Josh Rosen, 22 years old, second year in the league. It's going to be Fitzpatrick's job for a while, and then look out, because here comes Josh Rosen.
So we have a battle going on there with the young guy and the old guy. So that's the setup tonight as the Miami Dolphins begin preseason against the Atlanta Falcons here at Hard Rock Stadium. And we'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment.
Dolphins preseason football on CBS 4 is sponsored in part by Xfinity. This is beyond Wi-Fi. This is X-Fi. By AutoNation. AutoNation wants your car. Get a top dollar offer and leave with a check. No purchase required. By FPL. Activate your FPL Energy Analyzer today at fpl.com/take control. And by Infinity. Empower the drive. Change, in and of itself, guarantees nothing.
Touchdown, Miami!
Change can, however, become the catalyst for progress.
Way to keep fighting!
1, 2, 3! For Miami, the process of change this season began just days after last season ended.
Dynasty continues!
In a division where dominance has been the domain of a single franchise over the last 2 decades, the Dolphins chose to model their present reconstruction upon an unquestioned blueprint for success.
There is a selflessness and a put the team first attitude that you got to have. And if you can get everybody to buy into that, then good things will happen. I believe that.
Brian Flores will now provide the immediate answers for the direction of these Dolphins. But just who fills the roles of leadership on the field remains a question. Gone are the familiar eyes who helped guide the respective sides of this organization for nearly a decade. The fresh faces they have been replaced with bring a new energy and excitement to the stage, but have much still to learn and prove. A season of change brings with it a time for renewed hope.
I think they got a good group. I think they got great ownership. I think they've got, a lot of things in place here. I think the future's bright.
And welcome back to Hard Rock Stadium. And tonight's weather report is presented by your South Florida Audi dealer. Well, we had the usual thunderstorms several hours ago. It looks like they have passed. You never know, though. 78 degrees, 90% humidity as we send it down to Kimbo Camper.
One, two, one, two, one, two.
Hold on.
Okay, so the coin toss out on the field, and the Atlanta Falcons won. And they will defer. And the Dolphins will get the ball first. That is the new head coach, Brian Flores, 38 years old, spent 15 seasons in New England, and that's a lot of time with a championship franchise. Let's now send it down to Kimbo Camper. Kim?
Game brought to you by your South Florida Chevy dealers. And we're going to take a look at Brian Flores, first-time head coach, coaching his first game here on the sideline for the Miami Dolphins. Had a chance to talk to him yesterday. Talked about his mindset going into the first game as a boss. He said he's anxious, but he wants to see a clean operation. He talked about no pre-snap penalties, wants to improve on that. Last week in their inter-squad scrimmage, way too many penalties. He wants to clean that up. That's important for him, not only for today, but throughout the season. And he's looking for his players to keep working on techniques. They're looking at minor details. If you got an outside shoulder, take the outside shoulder. If you're two-gapping. He wants people to do their jobs and do what they're supposed to do and let other ones make their plays. That's what we got with Brian Flores. Back to you guys.
All right, Bo and Isaiah Ford will return the opening kickoff. And we're underway. And Ford will field it at the 3. Ford, candidate as a wide receiver for this team as well, brings it out just beyond the 20-yard line where we're set to go. And for the Miami Dolphins, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 37 years old, 15th year, played with Tampa Bay a year ago, and tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Gunther Volkswagen. And we begin at that quarterback spot. Actually had the highest quarterback rating of any Tampa Bay quarterback in history, though he started only 7 games. And a first down. Kenyon Drake is the opening running back, and he breaks one on the first play. And Drake picks up 9 yards on the first play from scrimmage. Desmond Trufant, the veteran, makes the play at the secondary, a 9-yard gain.
Watch the tight end. He's going to come behind the line of scrimmage. That's O'Leary, number 83, just gets a piece of him, but that's just enough to get him some yardage.
Good start, 2nd down and 1. And again, it's Drake, and he's going to be knocked down in a loss of a couple of yards. So a loss as Tank McKinley makes the play for Atlanta. And so, again, looking at the story for the Miami Dolphins on offense, the running backs, and we have seen Drake and Kalen Ballage, of course, also a candidate. And a rookie last year, looks like he figures as well. And Mark Walton, the former Cincinnati Bengal, also in the mix with others. So it'll be 3rd down and 2 after the loss of a yard here. 3rd and short for the Dolphins on the opening series, and pressure, and here is Fitzpatrick, will run and get the first down. Will mark it at the 45.
Those old legs still got some life, though. That's a good play by the quarterback. This is had some pressure on the quarterback, a lot of coverage downfield. This is one thing a quarterback has got to do, is be able to run short yardage for a first down.
Yeah, nice headsy play here by Fitzpatrick to get up in the pocket and run away from the pressure there. And they got Jesse Davis starting the right tackle tonight with Laramie Tunsil being out, and Jordan Mills playing at the left tackle, so that's really good.
So a first down at the 35. Rare to see Fitzpatrick slide with his legs first. Normally he's been a head-first slider, and on his first pass, it is a slant, and it's completed out to the 41-yard line. And a gain of 6. Making the catch is Mike Gesicki, the tight end.
Slant is always a good play because you got 3 steps and you're going to throw it. So it's not going to put much pressure on the offensive line to hold the blocks very long.
2nd down and 4. Gesicki, who is built more like a wide receiver. And we'll see how he's used there. Play action, and escaping the pass rush is Fitzpatrick, and the pass is going to be caught by Devontae Parker, and a first down into Atlanta territory. Gain of 14, pretty nifty start for the Dolphins.
Fitzpatrick, 15 years in the league. He's played for 8 different teams, 36 years old, and he just gets out, just does enough.
You know, it's crazy. It looked like it was set up to be a screen because there was so much pressure so quickly, but the offensive line just got beat up on that play, but yeah. Fitzmagic came out right there.
From the 45, and here is Drake, stopped for no gain, maybe a half a yard by McKinley again. The Atlanta Falcons, like the Dolphins, finished the season 7-9 last year. Atlanta tied for second in the NFC South. And that was after the disheartening Super Bowl loss in overtime to the Patriots the year before.
Disheartening and disappointing year. They were 13-3 2 years ago, 11-5 last year.
Dan Quinn will call the defensive signals this year. And here is the pass under a pass rush, and it's incomplete. Overthrown, intended for Parker. And a penalty flag is down. And it'll go against the Atlanta Falcons. Scott Novak is the referee.
Pass interference, defense number 26. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul. First down.
Pass interference call.
Yeah, this is a good call. I mean, Devontae Parker's a big receiver to begin with, and Isaiah Oliver trying to get there a little bit too early and climb the back of Parker to get this ball out. And we're going to see some of these things challenged throughout the preseason too, with the new rule changes.
Dan Quinn going to call the defensive plays.
Yeah, I had a chance to catch up with Dan Quinn in the field before the game, and we talked briefly about it, and he looks forward to it. He did it the first year when he was in Atlanta. He'll do it again this year after making some changes to that staff.
So a first down, and here is Drake breaking a tackle, and Kenyon Drake is going to be brought down at the 31-yard line. So heavy dose of Kenyon Drake, who was second in rushing, second in receiving for the Dolphins last year, and a 4-yard pickup.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a heavy dose of Kenyon Drake or whoever the running back may be, throughout the preseason and also into the regular season. You pick up 4 yards on first down, you're really winning that first down play. So 2nd and 6 with a older or an inexperienced quarterback is a lot easier to get.
Brian Flores likes to run the ball. And here is good protection for Fitzpatrick, but the pass, and nobody home down around the 10-yard line, so maybe a miscommunication on the route.
Yeah, you would think that. He had good protection that time. The rookie free agent, number 62, Calhoun, is starting at right guard. Take a look here. Going to throw the ball down the field to the right. He just overthrew it.
Yeah, Gesicki was the receiver who had the short route, the ball overthrown. So that will bring up 3rd down and 6 at the 31. Dolphins already in field goal range, looking to get the 6 here. And there is Fitzpatrick, and he's going to be tackled. And he gets the ball to the 30-yard line. Austin Larkin making the tackle. And so 4th down coming up. And Jason Sanders is going to come in to try the field goal here. So Fitzpatrick got the Dolphins into Falcon territory. And that's where the drive stopped. So here is Sanders, who is one of 4 NFL players who played 16 games and missed 2 or fewer field goals last year. This will be a 48-yard attempt. And Sanders' kick is good, and the Dolphins get 3 points on their opening possession on Jason Sanders' 48-yard field goal. 3-0 Miami. High definition, courtesy of Xfinity. Three to nothing in favor of the Dolphins, and now we'll see their defense in action. Kenyon Barner is back deep for the Falcons, and Sanders kicking off, and this is returnable. Barner at the 4-yard line. 2 flags go down. 2 penalty markers are thrown on the return. Normally that's, holding by the receiving team. Dan Quinn also with the new offensive coordinator, and Dirk Cutter, the former head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here's the call.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 53. 10-yard penalty, first down.
You're at mid-season form there, partner. Calling the penalties before they're even called by the ref.
Well, I suggested it.
Yes.
Don't give me too much credit, please.
All right.
It's interesting. You're only 2 years removed, or a year and a half now removed from Atlanta being in the Super Bowl, when Dan Quinn changed his entire staff. I mean, as far as the coordinator is concerned, new offensive coordinator. He's now calling plays defensively, and the new special teams coordinator.
Yeah, Steve Sarkisian was their offensive coordinator. So they start now from the 10-yard line. Ito Smith is the tailback for the Falcons. Starting from the 10, and Smith getting the call. Cuts upfield and picks up about 4 yards. So Matt Ryan not starting tonight, probably won't play. Matt Schaub, who a longtime veteran, is the starting quarterback for the Falcons. 14-year veteran, just 1 year short of what Ryan Fitzpatrick is. So we know about Matt Ryan. They know about him. They don't need him to see a lot of action yet. So Schaub starts. And there is Matt Ryan, who's closing in on 300 touchdowns and 50,000 yards this season. 2nd down and 7. And here is Smith off the right side. And it'll be 3rd down and about 3 or 4 as Jerome Baker makes the play for the Dolphins. Pick up a 3.
I think this is going to be kind of the interesting thing early on in the preseason and on in the regular season as well. When you get in 3rd down situations, you know, who on this football team with Cam Wake now being gone can create one-on-one matchups and win a one-on-one pass rush? I know they're trying to figure out what Charles Harris is going to be, the 1st round pick from a few years ago. This is a big moment for him.
There's Harris. Had 1 sack and 1 start last year. 3rd down and 4. Schaub, and his pass is going to be caught, and a 1st down and a good catch that time by Russell Gage. Gain of 15 yards. He had the time and he hit Gage. So Schaub has been around a long time in this league, and a 1st down up to the 31.
And man coverage, a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You know, opposing offenses, Jason, don't know what type of defense the Dolphins are going to play. Are they going to play New England defense, or are they going to play what are they going to do? So I'm sure they're not going to show everything here in preseason.
Brian Hill coming in at running back, setting up deep for Atlanta. Play action for Schaub, a lot of time. Good coverage downfield by the Dolphins, so they have to go underneath with a check down, and they do to Brian Hill, and a gain of about 6.
Well, that's a lot of time for a quarterback to have the ball rolled around, and after all that time, I mean, 4-man rush, don't really get there or get much pressure at all. Schaub decides to roll out on his own, try to buy some time, but great job by the secondary of the Dolphins to force that short pass. Typically on those situations, that ball gets chucked pretty deep and you get a big gain, but held it to 6 yards.
2nd down and 3 at the 38. And the pitch going to Hill off the left side, and Hill will have the 1st down before he is stopped at the 43 by Devon Gottschall. And so the Falcons, who started from the 10-yard line, have 2 1st downs.
Just a toss. 2 guys get blocked by one offensive Falcon, and not a very good play there defensively.
Ito Smith returning to the backfield. 1st down now at the 42 of the Falcons. And they go to Smith and the whistle, and there'll be a false start call against the Falcons.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
False start on the offensive line, so that will bring up a 1st and 15. Those dead ball penalties can kill you, Jason.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we heard Coach Flores talking about, and I'm sure Dan Quinn told his team as well, and every coach around this league, you can't shoot yourself in the foot.
1st and 15 now, back at the 37. Schaub's quick pass caught, but there are 2 Dolphins there to bring him down just about at the original line of scrimmage. Gage making his 2nd catch, and Jerome Baker making his 2nd tackle, a gain of 5.
Quarterback is just going to take 3 steps and throw. It's a high percentage pass. You know, one of the problems for this Atlanta offense last year was their offensive line. So they went out and drafted 2 guys, 2 offensive linemen in the 1st round this past year.
They had a lot of injuries too. Tank Carradine in the lineup for the first time, the former Raider, and now the flag goes down, and it could be against the Dolphins. Encroachment, and it was Jamal Wiltz from the secondary.
Encroachment, defense, number 33, 5-yard penalty, second down.
So we talk about dead ball fouls. Here's an example of right there we're talking about.
Yeah, tough, smart, and physical. This one here is not go in the smart category, and really not a whole lot of action there. I mean, the offense had just gotten set in their stance, and Wiltz, for whatever reason, thought he saw somebody twitch or shake or shimmy and brought him across the line. But you can't do that. You give up your, you're sitting in a 2nd and 10 situation. Now you put yourself in 2nd and 5. You already haven't stopped Atlanta yet, so it kind of, again, putting yourself behind the 8 ball. 2nd
down and 5. Once again at the 47. Schaub with pressure from behind, and he gets away, and the pass is incomplete. Good pressure by Tank Carradine. We mentioned him. 4 years with the 49ers, 1 year with Oakland, makes a presence here.
This is a really good rush by Tank Carradine, using good hands, gets around the edge, and I'm not sure how he missed Schaub. I don't know if he happened to blink at the particular time where Schaub backed up, but stayed after it, got Schaub on the ground, and good job forcing themselves into a situation where they can get their nickel package in the game a little bit and see what they have nickel-wise.
Well, they like Carradine, comes out after making one superb play. Now it'll be 3rd down and 5. No, it's going to be 3rd and 5 after no gain. See if the Dolphins can stop Atlanta on 3rd down. And the pass is caught, and a 1st down. A missed tackle by Xavier Howard, of all people, there. And Russell Gage with the reception gets 13 yards, and the Falcons get into Dolphin territory in a 1st down.
Well, that's really what you want defensively. You force the ball to be thrown underneath, which really becomes a 2.5 to 3 yard route. You just have to get him on the ground. So, Needham here needs to get him on the ground, misses the tackle at the 50-yard line, and then Minka Fitzpatrick misses one as well, which makes it even worse.
I think it was more Fitzpatrick than it was Howard. So 1st down now, as we now have 4 minutes remaining in the 1st quarter. 1st down on the 40 of the Dolphins. Pretty good protection there, going deep, and the pass is going to be caught at the 13-yard line by Zaccheaus. So Olamide Zaccheaus from Virginia, an undrafted rookie, 28-yard pass and a 1st down.
Yeah, they're going to hurry up and snap this one. This ball might not have been caught in bounds, so try to get this ball snapped before. Yeah.
They're going to challenge this one.
Coach Flores wasn't falling for that one.
Here we go.
I'm not so sure. I don't know if he had both feet in bounds. We're going to take a break right here as Scott Novak.
Challenge flags out.
Miami is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed
Brian
pass.
Flores is challenging, so we're going to take a break right here as the Falcons going through the air with a couple of solid plays. At first glance, one is in, not sure of the other one. Close.
After review, the ruling on the field of the completed catch stands. Miami will be charged their first time out of the 1st half.
And Scott Novak, the referee, just announced that the pass was complete. This is a great play. One toe in, right, guys? Watch the left foot before the foot went out. He got the toe down.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, this is a really nice throw and an amazing catch. I mean, laying out, being able to get that left big toe in before we're getting out of bounds. And they're picking on Needham out there in the corner, the undrafted free agent. He's had a few plays this series that have not been great.
So that cost the Dolphins a timeout. They had one challenge left in play action for Schaub. And bobbling but making the catch is Justin Hardy, the experienced wide receiver. Of course, everyone sits behind the great Julio Jones, who's not playing tonight as well. That's a great combination they have with Ryan and Julio Jones, I think.
Yeah, they got some skill guys on the outside that can really present some problems in a top-tier quarterback. I mean, a lot of people would say an elite quarterback. So, a guy that some Miami fans might think should be down here from years ago in whatever year that was, the 08 draft.
They went with the offensive lineman instead.
Yep.
This is the 11th play of the drive, 2nd down and 5 for the Atlanta Falcons. Schaub has had success through the air. This pass is going to be caught, and Howard makes the tackle quickly, and the pass caught by Hardy, his 2nd straight reception. But that'll bring up 3rd down and about 1.
Nice play by Xavier Howard right there on him. Just a little out route by the receiver.
Xavier Howard, one of the fixtures on this team. There aren't many that are assured of starting roles. Howard certainly is one. Pro Bowler. So now 3rd down and 1. Ito Smith back in at running back. 3rd and 1 out of the shotgun as Schaub fakes a pass, and this one is thrown, and a flag goes down. No one was in the end zone, and the closest player was Nick Needham, Patriot defensive back. Russell Gage may have been held on the play, but let's see. Yes.
Defense number 40.
And it was Needham who held Gage, and that'll be an automatic 1st down. 1st and goal now.
Well, this is his first time in the NFL, and Nick Needham's having a tough series here in the opening preseason game, playing with the ones or some resemblance of the ones from Atlanta, and had a tough series. He'll learn from these things, but as a football team, and even as a head coach, I'm sure Coach Flores will say this. You get a chance to do some situational football here, red zone, goal line situation, so it's not all bad.
1st and goal from the 2, and the handoff is to Smith, and didn't appear that he got over. Stopped short of the goal line. Will bring up 2nd and goal.
I was saying, you do these situations, Bob, in preseason camp and training camps. You do short yardage, you do goal line, you do red zone, and it's a little different speed. So for a chance for your first defense to be in the game in this situation and get some true live looks, makes some great coaching tape.
2nd and goal, tight formation. Here is Smith again, and he'll get in for the touchdown. Ito Smith with the touchdown caps a 90-yard drive by the Falcons, and they take the lead here with 1:16 remaining in the 1st quarter.
Well, it'll be interesting now to see what happens. First preseason game, your starting defense typically plays one series. They just drove 90 yards for a touchdown. Does Coach Flores say, okay, you guys are not done yet. You're coming back and doing this again.
You're going back out there again.
This is a different kind of preseason arrangement that the Dolphins are going to use. The guys are going to play longer than you would think and try to get it right. And they're going to go for 2 here.
Go for 2.
2-point conversion attempt. Schaub, he's got time, and his pass is knocked away by Xavier Howard, and they foiled the 2-point attempt. It was Christian Blake who was the intended receiver, but Howard had him covered like a blanket, and the 2-point conversion fails.
Timeout.
Penalty is declined. It was against Atlanta, and the Falcons take a 6-3 lead on a 13-play, 90-yard drive. Ito Smith going over from 2 yards out to give the Falcons the lead. Don't miss the Fantasy 5 winning numbers in the news following the game, only on CBS 4, your official Florida lottery station. Falcons take a 6-3 lead, and Isaiah Ford, who played in 1 game last year, injured 2 years ago, on the return and gets it out past the 20-yard line. Take a look at the Falcons scoring drive, and it was an impressive one indeed. 90 yards, 13 plays. Schaub was 7 of 8, and Ito Smith getting the score. And that scoring drive brought to you by AT&T Fiber. Used 8.5 minutes. Dolphins scored on their first possession, going 10 plays, capped by the field goal by Sanders. So here is the second possession of the game for Miami, starting from the 25. Kalen Ballage now in at running back, gets the call and gets a short gain, about 2 yards. So Kalen Ballage, who had 36 carries last year in his rookie year, but did average 5.3 yards per clip, which is pretty good.
You got 2 rookie guards in there, either one of them on next to the Kilgore, the center. You got Dieter, the offensive guard on the left side, 3rd-round draft pick, and then the free agent Campbell on the right side.
Stills in the slot to the left on 2nd down and 8, half a minute to go in the quarter, and turning his back was Balaj on that pass out in the flat. And so it'll be 3rd down coming up. Another miscommunication, Jason.
Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick threw this one kind of on a line drive, but really he had a chance to lob it over the outside linebacker and catch Balaj on the sideline. And you've all seen him run before. You get him in open space with the ball in his hand, it's going to be a hard time for anybody to catch him.
3rd down and 8. Three wide receivers line up for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And Fitzpatrick stepping up, and the pass thrown underneath. Balaj, the intended receiver, was hit as the ball came to it, and it was Sheffield who was right there. And that will be 4th down, but pending a penalty flag down.
Holding. Offense. Number 79. Penalties decline.
And Jordan Mills, the former Bill, who is at right tackle for the Dolphins, starting this game. And the holding penalty is declined. And that will force the Dolphins to kick, and Matt Hawk will come in to do those chores. And Kenyon Barner will go back for Atlanta. There is Barner, and looking for good field position for the Falcons, as Hawk will be kicking from about the 15. Short kick, and it takes an Atlanta hop, and they'll get it at about the 36-yard line with 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. Well, to listen to tonight's game in Spanish, be sure to enable the secondary audio programming or SAP button on your viewing device. SAP services tonight are sponsored by the Florida Lottery. Know your limits. Play responsibly.
Yeah, as we talked about, that first defense is going to go back out for another try at this. Atlanta did a good job of, after giving up a 10-play drive earlier to the Dolphins offense, come out and get a 3 and out. And they'll see if Miami's defense can return the favor to Atlanta as well.
Patrick Graham is the new defensive coordinator. He came from New England as well. And the running play to Brian Hill. Hill picks up 2 yards, and that should be the last play of the first quarter, is Nick Needham, who had a rough time on the last drive by the Falcons, makes the tackle, and that will bring the first quarter to an end here at Hard Rock Stadium. At the end of the first quarter, the Falcons 6 and the Dolphins 3.
Dolphins preseason football on CBS 4 is sponsored in part by your South Florida Honda dealers. Visit your Honda dealer this week during the Honda Summer Spectacular event. And by Audi. Get exceptional offers on select models during the Summer of Audi sales event at your South Florida Audi dealer.
Summer is almost over, and let CBS 4 this morning help you get back into your routine. Headlines, traffic, and weather together. Weekday mornings on CBS 4, the official home of your Miami Dolphins. Along with Jason Taylor, our newcomer in the booth, and Bob Greasy, Dick Stockton with you here at Hard Rock Stadium. Start of the second quarter, Falcons with a 2nd down and 8. On the 36-yard line, and Brian Hill with the carry will be about 4.5 yards shy of the first down, picks up 4 yards. Akeem Spence making the tackle. Akeem Spence been a big help to Christian Wilkins, as he told us in the meeting yesterday. Wilkins, the #1 draft pick out of Clemson. We'll be seeing a lot of him. Spence, long-time veteran, has been a big help. 3rd down and 4 now at the 42, and the Dolphins pointing that a Falcon penalty is...
Yeah, false start on Eno Smith.
False start. Offense. Number 25. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You know, Brian Flores told us that what is he looking for in this game? Not so much, the big play, whatever, the scoring, clean operation, penalty-free, and good fundamentals and technique.
And the most basic thing that coaches always talk about on every level, 11 guys in the huddle. You don't often get that in the preseason, though, because there's so many guys, there's so many changes. There's 90 guys on the sideline as opposed to the normal 46. It's just it's a lot more going on.
So now it's 3rd and 9, costly penalty against Atlanta. And Schaub, who is only one incompletion, goes down quickly. And it was Nate Orchard, former Kansas City Chief, who gets the sack. So a loss on the play of 6 yards, and the Falcons will punt.
How often do you see a defensive end number 4?
Yeah, you don't see that. Yeah, you don't see that in the NFL. And
yeah.
A good job here by Orchard going inside, and nice little hand swipe on the guard to get his hand off and turn the corner. It's a good old-fashioned outside speed rush with a little bit of handwork.
Trenton Irwin, undrafted rookie from Stanford, will let the ball bounce, and it will be down by the Falcons at the 28-yard line. Well, you say, when do you see a number 4? When was the last time you saw a kicker with a number 69? That's who the Dolphins have from Brazil. Maybe we'll see him tonight. Josh Rosen is going to make his Dolphin debut right now, and 10th pick in the draft with the Arizona Cardinals last year. Started 13 games, and Josh Rosen coming in for Ryan Fitzpatrick, who completed 2 of 5 passes for 20 yards. Most of it was on the ground, and the Dolphins scoring, getting a field goal on their first possession. Nothing on the second. So here is Rosen, who's had 6 offensive coordinators in the last 4.5 years of play. I think his head is spinning. Well, he's going to throw on first down, and his pass is going to be incomplete. And it's intended for a guy who's one to watch. Preston Williams at 6'4" from Colorado State has impressed in camp, an undrafted rookie.
Yeah, he was covered there, and I think what Rosen was thinking that he might do was stop and come back for the ball because he was covered going deep.
2nd and 10, Kalen Ballage in the backfield behind Rosen. Ball's at the 29. Rosen looking to throw again. Up the middle, incomplete. Ballage, the intended receiver, and a flag goes down. Good rush on Rosen. Let's see if he was hit.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense, number 49.
And roughing the passer is called.
Yeah, this is the rule here. You can't come in low, or obviously you can't come in late on the quarterback, but you can't come in low either. And
yeah,
they got him here going to the legs of Rosen. So in this NFL, it's going to be a penalty. It's not necessarily in the knees; it's more in the hip area. He's trying to dive to make a play.
You got to hit him above the knee and below the neck.
There's a defensive guy in the booth here now, so we're going to have to agree to disagree on some of these things.
You were lucky to play when you played, Jason.
Yes,
that's all I got to say.
It would have cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
First down at the 44 after the roughing the passer penalty, and Ballage is tackled behind the line of scrimmage by Chris Odom for a loss of about a yard. Odom, the former Packer, and Ballage gets nothing there.
Well, nobody blocked the guy. There's a mistake.
Yeah, they brought pressure off the edge, and Will Holden, who's in their right tackle now, took the man off the edge and allowed the inside gap to be open, and it was a clean hit of the quarterback, or I'm sorry, the running back. 2nd
down and 11. Play action for Rosen, getting a pass rush, and this pass is going to be caught for a minimal gain by Nick O'Leary, tight end, who had his moments last year, gets 3 yards. And
nice play there by Rosen. He was dead sacked and got out of there, made something of it, got the ball downfield, and averted it right there. Throws it downfield, picks up a little yardage.
So it'll be 3rd down and 8. Josh Rosen, who played college ball at UCLA. Kenyon Drake and Kalen Ballage, both in the backfield for protection purposes, and it's not going to work. Rosen fires it up for grabs, and the pass is caught by Preston Williams, and a flag goes down in the secondary as well. I don't know how Rosen ever completed that pass. And Chris Odom making the tackle, 16 yards in all.
That was a great play by Rosen.
Pass interference, defense number 33. Penalties decline. First down.
Bleedy Ray Wilson with pass interference, and it was Odom who had put the pressure on Rosen to no avail.
Yeah, once again, pressure coming off that right side on Will Holden. You know, this is about 5 plays Rosen's been in now, I guess, and 3 times he's been on the ground.
Look at this catch.
This one happened to work out. I mean, a great catch on a ball that probably should not have been thrown, but that's kind of thrown up, and often those go back for pick sixes.
16-yard play into Falcon territory. First down now at the 38. Boy, Rosen, great presence of mind. And that includes Preston Williams, and a timeout is called by the Dolphins.
Confusion.
And we're going to take a timeout here. Still early in this second quarter with the Falcons leading Miami 6-3. Hurricane season is now upon us. South Florida turns to Chief Meteorologist Craig Setzer and the CBS 4 weather team for the latest on the tropics. Stay informed with CBS 4, the official home of your Miami Dolphins. Miami with a 1st and 10 at the 38 of the Falcons. Josh Rosen in at quarterback here early in the second quarter. Kalen Ballage, and a steam first down for Ballage as he gets inside the 25-yard line. Great burst and a 16-yard gain by Ballage.
I like the way that guy plays. He is big. He is 6'2" and 230. And I like he's fast, he's big and strong.
I like the way Durham Smythe played on that play too. The tight end just walked the outside linebacker off the ball about 9 yards deep. It's really easy to run when you gain the edge like that by the tight end.
First down now at the 22, and they go to Ballage again, and this time only a yard as we send it down to Kimbo Camper.
All right, time now for your news and notes presented by your Volkswagen dealers with South Florida. And this we had a special guest at training camp this week, Tuesday, 2-time World Cup champion and head coach of the U.S. women's national soccer team. Jill Ellis visited the team. She spoke to the players after practice and talked about commitment, but most of all talked about believing in one another to get the job done. By the way, Bob, I got to tell you, I asked her if she was a fan of the 72 undefeated team. She says, nah, I kind of like the Killer Bees myself, so we had a little something in common.
Hey, wait a second.
Hey.
Here's a pass out on the flat, and it's caught by Alan Hearns, former Cowboy, for a short gain.
Bo, if you're going to come up with stuff like that, we're not going to come down to you anymore.
Let's take a vote up here. Do we go down to Bo again?
No, if he's going to talk about...
Hey, I'm a defensive guy. Bo's always welcome.
Okay, and I say we go to Bo too. So, Bob, I'm sorry about that.
I can't tell her who she likes, Bob. She told me. What can I say? You know, I said she's my era. You're a little bit back too far, Bob. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
3rd down and 7. Boy, couple of shots
I know.
to Bob Greasy early.
Yeah.
And here's Rosen. Takes a couple of shots himself, stays on his feet, and throws the ball away beautifully. Tell you what, that's presence of mind, isn't it?
That is pretty good play right there.
Yeah, that's a nice job. That's good athleticism to get away from the sack and ultimately not take the sack.
And a holding penalty
Defense,
against Atlanta,
number 43.
and that'll be an automatic first down for the Dolphins.
Yeah, they end up picking up the first down, but I was going to say, good job by Rosen of getting away from the pressure initially, getting outside of the pocket. You know, he's showing athleticism and pocket presence, not panicking here. But then once you get out of this pocket, sometimes quarterbacks try to look too long, end up taking a sack. Being on 3rd down, take you out of field goal range, so it was a smart play to throw it away.
All right, so a first down at the 13 of Atlanta. In motion was Isaiah Ford, and here's Ballage. Look at that power, gets inside the 10. Strong as Kalen Ballage as he gets inside the 10 to the 9-yard line and picks up 4 there. Justin Zimmer made the play.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator, we should introduce Chad O'Shea, who spent the last 10 years as the receiving coach for the Patriots.
Yes, he was. He's never called plays before, so this is the first time him being an offensive coordinator calling the offense.
2nd down and 6. And there is the fade pattern, and the pass flag goes down. Preston Williams, I tell you, that 6'4" size really is going to help this guy, and it looked like Kendall Sheffield interfered with him. Scott Novak will call it.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20. Fouls in the end zone. Ball be placed at the 1 yard line. First
Keep
down.
in mind that Preston Williams was in the top 5 in the nation in receiving and yards at Colorado State.
But he went undrafted. The Dolphins got him as a free agent. And why did that happen?
Because people miss.
They do.
Well,
People miss. Scouts miss.
they had a few things they had to check out, and they checked them out, and they signed him.
First and goal at the 1. Balaj will get the touchdown. Great series for Josh Rosen, Kalen Balaj, and Preston Williams. All starred in this series. And Josh Rosen takes the Dolphins in for a touchdown on his first series running the team.
Yeah, this kind of goes, people take this for granted, but getting down in the 1 yard line, being able to pound that football in on first down, not having to throw fade to the outside and try to get cute to generate points. It's good old-fashioned power football.
Good job by the offensive line. Balaj is a big man. He's almost as big as Larry Zonka was.
That's saying a lot. Jason Sanders for the extra point, and the kick is good. And so the Falcons, who took the 6-3 lead, now are trailing the Dolphins by a score of 10-6. Impressive scoring drive. We'll tell you all about that scoring drive when we come back, but the Dolphins lead Atlanta 10-6. Coming up tonight, don't miss the Fantasy 5 winning numbers in the news following the game. Only on CBS 4, your official Florida lottery station. An impressive scoring drive by the Dolphins.
That was impressive. Josh Rosen did a nice job getting out of trouble.
Kenyon Barner at the goal line. Another returnable kick starting from the 1. And ridden out of bounds. So the touchdown run by Balaj, short yardage. As Jason Taylor said, not a given when you're at the 1 yard line. You got to work to get it in there. An impressive scoring drive. 9 plays, 71 yards. And Rosen 3 for 4 in that drive to boot. So,
yeah, a lot of plays set up by, again, the undrafted free agent. Preston Williams made a great catch on a circus throw by Rosen. And then you get down in that red zone, use that 6'5" body to throw it up, force a pass interference, get the ball on the 1 yard line.
I called him 6'4", but I cheated him by an inch. Here is Matt Schaub looking for a receiver downfield and throws it away. That spells good coverage.
Yes, yeah, good job on the back end. You're talking about you cheated Preston Williams by an inch. Listen, these are NFL rosters in heights and weight. Listen, I was listed at like 265 for 15 years.
Yeah.
I never saw north of 244. So he could really be 6'4" in real life, but for the sake of this broadcast, he's 6'5", and I was 265.
But you know, it's interesting. I would have put 244, and I'm going to say, how can this guy be so quick?
That's what I used to say. I was proud to be 244. They always want to make me bigger.
Right. That's right. Brian Hill, the running back, and Hill gets the carry. And Hill, with a good gain, picks up 9 yards with 8.5 to go here in the first half. 9-yard pickup by Hill. The regular running back, of course, will be Devontae Freeman coming back after injury. And making the tackle was Sam Guavin. And he is one to watch right here. Guavin, who played with the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Canadian League. And he, too, is one to watch. A new face for the Dolphins. So now 3rd and 1. See what they do on short yardage. They go to Hill. And Hill's going to get the first down by a yard. Needham was there, but not before the Falcons pick up the first down.
Yeah, he kind of ran over Needham, number 40, who is also a rookie free agent, undrafted free agents. You know, Jason, there's more undrafted free agents that have a chance to make this ball club. I think that's, well, it was the Patriot way for a while.
Yeah.
They always gave guys chances.
Still is, I think.
As Coach Flores said, he doesn't care where you came from.
Yeah.
Where you got picked, when you got picked, if you even got picked. You're the best, one of the best 53 you will be on this football team.
From the 35 on first down, and the quick toss, and a great catch, and a loss. Let's see if they'll call it incomplete. Excuse me, it was an incomplete pass all the way by Devin Gray. So not only can you be a free agent and make the team or play in another league, but you got to be versatile as well. Here's that last play.
Yeah, the more you can do, and here we go with undrafted free agent. Needham getting his hand in there and knocking the ball away.
Good play.
Preventing the completion.
Good job.
We talk about inexperienced team a little bit, inexperienced defense with some of the veteran guys not being up front anymore. We still see Charles Harris is in the game. Christian Wilkins, the first-round draft pick, still in the game here halfway through the second quarter of the first preseason game.
So it's second down and 10, so forget about going with the third and fourth stringers. He wants to see if guys can play. Schaub's pass, and it's caught into Dolphin territory, and a first down. It was Devin Gray that time. And a pretty nifty throw by the 14-year veteran, picking up 17 yards.
Nice play, good protection. Got to get your hands up. If you see the quarterback, Jason, you can comment on this. If you can see the quarterback throwing over the middle, it was always tough for me when those defensive linemen got their hands up.
Yeah, you're always taught if you don't get an initial push and surge into the backfield when the ball's thrown, get your hands up. Try to close some of those windows and knock some balls down.
And here is Schaub on play action going deep, wide open. And the pass is caught getting inside the 20-yard line. A great catch wide open was C.J. Wharton from Florida International University. So a local guy makes a play for the enemy, gets 29 yards. That's their biggest play from scrimmage. First down to the 19.
Yeah, this is a nice play set up here by Schaub. They bring a little receiver around in a reverse action, able to get in behind the defense, and T.J. McDonald's got a little greedy looking forward, and Wharton stuck in behind him. Good throw by Schaub.
Found the seam pretty effectively. First and 10 at the 19. Kenyon Barner, who has been a return man, is now in the running back, but going to the air is Schaub, and a flag goes down. And penalty flag.
Yeah, they're going to call this a hold or a pass interference.
Wiltz, I think, was the closest to the wide receiver downfield, who was Christian Blake.
Yeah, a hold's going to be 10 yards. Pass interference will put this ball down near the goal line. So
There are fouls against both teams on the play. Holding, offense, number 73. Pass interference, defense, number 33. Those fouls offset. Replay, first down.
Matt Gono holding on the offense, and Wiltz
got away with one there.
Yep.
Holding call kind of gets him off the hook a little bit, but you don't mind that. If you're in that double move on the outside, you'd rather have a pass interference or a holding call down near the 1 yard line than give up a touchdown. So that's kind of an aggressive penalty. It's not the pre-snap penalty. Some of the things that Coach Flores talked about he didn't want to see out here tonight. So not a horrible thing when you fall for a double move.
There was Patrick Graham, so it will be first and 10 at the 19. And Brian Hill. And this time, good defensive play made by Wiltz. So Wiltz, who was guilty of encroachment earlier, and then the pass interference and the offsetting penalty, makes a good play here. Loss of 1.
The key here, Jay, is that Wiltz is getting an opportunity to play.
Yep.
And he's showing up.
And doing more than just being a cover corner.
Yeah, he
come up
was
in the backfield making plays at the line of scrimmage. That's priceless.
Well, that's what it's all about with Flores, is that you got to be able to do a lot of things, not just the one thing. Pass rusher, got to play the run too. So second down and 11. Schaub smartly throws it away. He got into trouble and lives to play another down. Third and 11 coming up. Falcons in field goal range already.
Be a chance here for the Miami to get into their nickel package, take some of the big fellas out. Tank Carradine comes out, Godchow comes out, and put Nate Orchard back in. So get some pass rushers on the field here, and a third and 11 situation with 5 DBs playing behind you, and see what this team may have forward going on third down.
And you saw that Christian Wilkins has been in there, the #1 draft pick from Clemson. There's Wilkins. It'll be third down. And Schaub with the pass incomplete. Unable to hold on that time was Eric Saubert. And that'll bring up fourth down. And Giorgio Tavecchio will come in to try the field goal for Atlanta. So a good stop eventually by the Dolphins, Jason.
Yeah, sometimes it's not always pretty, and you get a chance to get to a third down situation and find a way to get off the field and force a field goal.
38-yard try coming up for Tavecchio. Trying to cut the Dolphin lead to 1. And the kick is good. So Giorgio Tavecchio with a 38-yard field goal. 1-point game with 4:47 to go in the first half. The Dolphins up. Here is tonight's trivia question brought to you by Gunther Mazda. Well, our booth rookie, Jason Taylor, was known for his durability during his time in Miami. At one point playing in 130 straight games. He is not the longest such streak in franchise history, however. Can you name the Dolphin player who holds the club record for consecutive games played? We'll have the answer later on. But first the kickoff, and Isaiah Ford on the return once again, and he gets brought down at the 26-yard line. So Jason Taylor gets the trivia question. He gets everything today. I'm going to stand up. You know, now.
Oh. Okay, yeah, we all
Let's all
stand up.
No,
well, if I stand up, you won't be able to see my head,
no,
right?
No, that's right. Yeah, you stay seated.
I'm in a high chair, people. I'm not that much bigger than Dick and Bob.
No, not at all.
I'm in a high chair like a baby.
That's first down at the 26-yard line. Josh Rosen with his second series at quarterback led the Dolphins to a touchdown and hands this one off for a couple of yards, and a flag is down. Mark Walton is now the running back, and he carried there. Here's the flag.
Offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And the penalty, holding against the Dolphins. Will Holden, former Cardinal, holding to give his former teammate a break, Josh Rosen. So Will Holden.
And Walton, the guy that carried that ball, was a ex-Miami Hurricane.
Yes. Last played with the Bengals. First down and 20. And the pass is intercepted. Falcons with the interception bring it down to the goal line. Jermaine Grace with the pick. And so Rosen, who was so impressive in that first drive, makes the mistake you don't want to make. And the interception puts Atlanta in prime position here.
Well, the problem here is he doesn't look the receiver off. He's going to throw the ball over the middle of the field. It's a zone coverage. The linebacker is looking right at him, and I think that maybe Rosen didn't see the linebacker because the offensive linemen were blocking his way. Well, I think he did see him.
And a 16-yard return on the interception. So now it's first and goal at the 3-yard line for the Falcons. Can they take advantage of the turnover? Brian Hill gets hit and edges forward for maybe a yard, flag down again.
They're going to back this one up and get 10 more yards for Miami.
It's good.
Holding, offense, number 64, 10-yard penalty.
And the penalty against Sean Harlow. So a very costly penalty for the Falcons, who had first and goal at the 3. And there you see Chad O'Shea with Josh Rosen. I'm sorry, that is not Chad O'Shea. There is O'Shea on the right.
Yeah. Now that was all on Josh. And Rosen will tell you that he should never have thrown that ball.
Yeah, if that ball was going to be thrown, it looked like it needed to be thrown a lot quicker, right, Bob?
Yeah.
First and goal now at the 13. See if the Dolphins can get out of trouble on this one. And here is Hill. Hill gets stopped at the 12-yard line by Christian Wilkins after a gain of 2. So Wilkins making his first tackle in a Dolphin uniform. Hill will come out of the game.
The young fella out of Clemson still in there, almost here at the end of the second quarter. And I think Dolphin fans should expect to see him play quite a bit throughout the preseason. if you're playing this much in the first one, probably play a little longer in the second. Obviously get a lot of work in the third.
A very outgoing guy, very loquacious. He probably says, hey, I want to play. I want to stay out here.
Yeah, no reason number 1 pick shouldn't start. You know what? They do in today's football. Right?
Yeah, he needs to play. He's a young guy, and he needs to learn the game and the speed of the game and the way it's supposed to be played.
And this pass will be incomplete, thrown out of the end zone. And it was Russell Gage. Made the catch, but out of the end zone. So now it'll be 3rd and goal at the 11-yard line.
All right, let's see what defensive coordinator Patrick Graham and Brian Flores draw up here. I mean, you had the ball 1st and goal on the 1-yard line. You now have Atlanta on the 11-yard line with a chance to force a field goal after a turnover. I mean, you can't generate pressure before down. You haven't been able to do it yet. I think you bring some pressure, force this ball out quickly.
Boy, if you can make them get 3 instead of the 7 when they were on the 3-yard line, you're doing a great job. So here it is. Plenty of time, and the pass is incomplete. No flags down, and it's 4th down. Schaub's pass to Blake was woefully short. And there is Jamal Wiltz, who has had the good and the bad, but a lot of goods as well, right?
Yep. Good job by the defense. He's got plenty of time to throw. Tight coverage.
Yeah, he does. I think Matt Schaub thought Christian Blake was going to break out instead of breaking in. And the ball was thrown to the out, which may have had a chance for a completion there.
So Tavecchio will try the 29-yard field goal, looking to give the Falcons the lead, and he does. So Giorgio Tavecchio with 2 straight field goals, and the Atlanta Falcons have taken the lead 12-10 over the Dolphins with just under 3 minutes remaining in this first half.
That, my friend, is a win for the Miami defense.
Oh, no question about it, Jason. You know, when it was 1st and goal at the 3, you're saying, uh-oh. And
yeah, I mean, you get the ball on the 1-yard line and a sudden change. I mean, Atlanta has all the momentum at that point. You've got to rush your defense on the field all the way away from the coach's box, so the communication is not there when they're coming off the bench trying to grab their helmets. And luckily for them, they get a penalty, which backs them up. But the same thing Coach Flores talks about of not having self-inflicted penalties and all that goes for every team in the NFL. So Dan Quinn, if anybody watched the game last week, the Hall of Fame game, saw the plethora of flags that came out in that game. It's something he's going to want to get cleaned up as well.
They lost to the Denver Broncos in Canton. So the scoring drive, 4 plays for -8 yards. So that's a pretty good sign considering they started at the 3. So Dolphins get the ball back. Isaiah Ford from the 3. All the kicks have been returnable so far, and Ford gets it to the 20. Well, come watch the Miami Dolphins take on the Baltimore Ravens at Hard Rock Stadium for the opener, September 8th. A limited number of tickets remain, so visit Dolphins.com to secure your seats now. Lamar Jackson comes to town. That'll be a pretty good battle.
It will be. It's interesting point you just made there. All the kicks have been returnable so far. Some people at home might be wondering, can the kickers no longer get the ball in the end zone? But I think in the preseason, these special teams coaches are telling their guys, keep it in. I want to see who can cover. We have to figure out who can cover for us.
Rosen gets hit as he loads incomplete to Walton out of the backfield. Got stung there by the Atlanta pass rush. Brings up 2nd down and 10.
He's been touched quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, one of the areas where the Dolphins have been weak is the offensive line. And they lost
Juwan James.
Juwan James, from last year.
2nd and 10. Rosen again under siege and will go down. I think his flag is down.
It's going to be a hold.
Try to avoid the sack by getting rid of the ball, and good pressure by Jacob Mariner.
Holding. Offense. Number 79. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
Jordan Mills. 2nd penalty that Mills has committed this evening.
We talked earlier, Laramie Tunsil's not playing tonight, and there's going to be some change. This is going to be a common theme, I think, for a little bit with this offensive line, kind of playing musical chairs. They had an offensive line coach change a few weeks ago, and Googe is now coaching the offensive line. as Flores made a decision at the beginning of camp to make a change. So there's going to be some flux.
Dave to Guglielmo, now in there. Pat Flaherty relieved of his duties. And here is Rosen, and he's going to go down again at the 10-yard line. Tell you what, getting no time at all. That was a loss of 10 yards. Austin Larkin, undrafted rookie from, I'll tell you where after this play. Purdue.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's Mills again on the left side, the left tackle, and we've got to find out early who can play and who can't play.
Yeah, well,
that offensive line.
Yeah, that's going to be. But a Boilermaker got the sack, so hats off to you, Mr. Greasy.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm impressed that you pronounced the offensive line coach's name.
Well,
he used to coach with the staff when I played on the team, and all I ever knew him as is Gooch. I can't pronounce his name.
But you guys who played the game, but fans at home saying, "Who is this Gooch you're talking about?" They've been Guglielmo.
Well, they're going to hear a lot about Gooch,
and
probably see him yelling here in a little bit.
And the guy who made the I said Jacob Mariner, but it's Jacob Tuioti Mariner.
Yes.
To get it right. There's a hyphen in there.
Yes.
And they're going to punt from the end zone on 4th down, and Kenyon Barner is deep. And Matt Hawk, good field position with plenty of time remaining, and Barner is going to wind up in Dolphin territory to the 49-yard line with 2:22 remaining in the first half. Well, a quick programming note, due to tonight's football action, tonight's 9 p.m. episode of Big Brother is running on our sister station, WBFS My TV 33. That's channel 33, or on Comcast 436. It will also air overnight tonight right here on CBS 4. Programming note for you. So good field position.
Yeah, a lot of time too. Dan Quinn called a timeout after that last sack by Rosen, so Miami couldn't pick these down with a 2-minute warning. So he has 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
See what Schaub could do here. The Falcons leading by 2. Schaub's pass, and he just flips it over the middle, and it's caught for a gain of about 6 to Jaden Graham. Lining up without the huddle. As we're winding down to the 2-minute warning, they'll get another play off before the 2-minute warning, probably. They do. And this pass will be a short slant, first down to the 38 to Christian Blake for 6 yards. And now we're down to the 2-minute warning. So 2 minutes remain in this first half here at Hard Rock Stadium. Tight game. First game for a lot of newcomers here wearing the Dolphins uniform. Reveals a new award in South Florida to honor the area's best high school football player. And you just may have heard of the guy. It's named after former Dolphin great Nat Moore, not with us in the booth, but not forgotten at all. So go to natmooretrophy.com to nominate your favorite South Florida high school player. The Nat Moore Trophy is presented by FPL. Jim Berry will have more at halftime. So this is the 2-minute warning. Falcons have 2 timeouts left. The Dolphins only 1. And there is the quick flip to Kenyon Barner. And Barner out racing the Dolphins to the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. And 38-yard play. I want to look at the replay, and I'm wondering, guys, whether the Dolphins really had a chance to nail this guy.
They missed a couple tackles.
Yeah, they had 2 chances.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought pressure, ended up being in a man-to-man situation, but one of the things that suffers in preseason, as you see the ball get out here in this quick screen, Matt Schaub does a good job of getting the ball out of his hands right away. But
one shot.
Yeah,
2.
Minka Fitzpatrick, Nate Orchard, both missed tackles. Good job by Charles Harris running it down. But
and a good block on Cornell Armstrong, too.
Yeah, this is just one of the things that suffers early in the preseason because you don't tackle in training camp anymore. So you do get a bit of missed tackles.
And you know
his knee may be down before he gets in the end zone.
They review all scoring plays and turnovers, as you know, upstairs. And it looked on the replay the knee was down. But let's see.
They've got to wrap up and gang tackle.
Yeah, they missed a couple of chances there. Barner accepting congratulations. And I'm going to say that if his knee were down, he's going to get the ball on the next play.
Well, you've got to give it to him and finish it off, right? At least try to finish it off.
Am I going out on a limb, Jason, or what? Huh? Yeah, well.
Saw it better from the ground view.
It's close.
It's close.
Might need that shot down the goal line.
Charles Harris.
Yeah, Charles Harris did a nice job of hustling here, trying to run it down. I don't know. It looks like that
left knee was down.
Yeah, the front of his leg and the left knee's down just before the goal line.
Well, let's see what Scott Novak.
The offense and defense are coming back on the field.
Yeah, they're lined up. The Dolphins are lined up defensively as if its ball's going to be on the 1.
Yeah, but teams always do that. It's because it was against them. Atlanta's going to keep their kicking team on the field as long as they can. Yeah. We used to do that too, like it influenced the officials, you know.
Didn't help.
If they didn't make it,
it never worked.
It
never worked.
Brian Hill's going to come in, so Barner is not going to get a chance to score.
Oh.
I don't think he minds, you know, in this preseason game. I think he likes what he did on that run. It was a 37-yard run. And Brian Hill checks in. Here's Novak.
After review, the ruling on the field has been changed. The runner's knee was down and the ball was short. It will be a half-yard short. Atlanta has chosen not to use a timeout. By rule, since we went from stop to a running clock, we will run 10 seconds. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock at 1:38, and the clock will start on my signal.
So we have a 10-second runoff here. And the ball on the 1.
Yeah, Atlanta does not want to use a timeout here, obviously, being on the 1-yard line.
They have 2, but they may need it, you know.
Yeah, let this clock run, and worst case, leave Miami with no time to get in their 2-minute drill.
Brian Flores. First time as head coach, and great foundation. He's not a total Bill Belichick guy. Takes things from Bill Belichick and other people that he has learned under. So here we go. Hill and Ortiz are both in the backfield. Ortiz is the fullback. They go to Hill, and Hill scores. So Brian Hill gets the touchdown after all is said and done, and the Falcons add to their lead with 1:11 on the clock. So we're going to get a chance to see Josh Rosen in a 2-minute drill at least here, and see what they do. And celebration by the Falcons as if they just won the NFC Championship game.
Hey, small victories.
Yes, it is.
Small victories.
They're victories, right?
Well, they're hoping they'll be back here in February. Super Bowl is going to be right here.
Right. DeVecchio, who has 2 field goals tonight, adds the extra point to make it 19-10 in favor of the Falcons.
Well, just a good old-fashioned goal line play here. Line up in the I formation and bring the fullback down. And, you know, really wasn't a very hardly run ball. You know, didn't really slam it up in there, and had a chance. Looked like Cornell Armstrong had a chance to make the play in the hole, and just chose otherwise.
So the Falcons have run off 13 unanswered points after the Dolphins had that 10-6 lead. With 1:11 to go, and one more chance here for the Dolphins to get something going. Isaiah Ford, he's been the lone returner so far in this game for Miami. Starting from the 1-yard line is Ford, and Ford gets it out to the 25 with 1:05 on the clock. Interesting what the plan could be, guys, here, because ordinarily, you know, you don't want to take too many chances and maybe make a mistake. You know, finally take a knee with 105. But what do you think the philosophy is? Maybe let's see what he can do in short time.
Yeah, I think you kind of throw caution to the wind here a little bit. You know, it's preseason. You want to see what this team can do and what Rosen can do in this situation.
And going deep is Rosen. And a one-handed catch is made by Preston Williams. Man, does this undrafted rookie continue to impress. One-handed catch by Preston Williams for 36 yards. And all of a sudden, the Dolphins are at the 39 of Atlanta. They have one timeout remaining. Rosen. And couldn't get the ball off before he was tackled by Miles Durant and a loss of 2.
This last throw and catch. You got to give some credit to Preston Williams.
Now it looked like one-handed, and it was.
It's a really well thrown ball as well. I mean, put in a perfect spot where you give a chance for your long receiver to reach out and make a play on the ball, but still outside of the defender's
good protection.
reach.
Good protection there. The offensive line did a nice job. Tell you what, this kid's impressive.
As we said, transfer from Tennessee after his sophomore year, in the top 5 in the nation in receiving and yardage. So a first, said it'll be 2nd and 12 now at the 41. No timeouts left. Rosen get hit, and the catch is made, and the clock stops going out of bounds as Bryce Butler. So Bryce Butler, who had 6 catches, signed in November for the Dolphins last year, and all of a sudden with 29 seconds to go, 17-yard pickup and a first down at the 24.
You know, the key here is making some good plays, but that offensive line giving him time to throw.
Remember, no timeouts remaining, so that's going to be a factor here for the Dolphins. Mark Walton, the running back, but they're going to be throwing, and good protection this time, and the pass. Did he stay in bounds? No. And this time Preston Williams did not have both feet in bounds. Pass is incomplete. It'll be 2nd down, but more significantly, only 24 seconds out.
Yeah, you only lose 5 seconds off this clock, and a good strike thrown here by Rosen really gives Preston Williams a chance to catch this ball, and might want to take a look at this one.
Yeah.
Might want to take a second look.
Remember, you have to have obvious visual evidence to change it, and I don't think they have that. Just a guess from here.
I don't know if
is that left foot down?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. When he caught the ball, it looked like the left foot might be down.
Catch.
Yeah.
It's a booth review, so no challenge here in the last 2 minutes of the first half and the game.
That looks pretty good there.
Looks like he's practiced that a little bit too.
Yeah, you think he's done this a few times? I'll tell you what, regardless of the outcome of this replay, this young kid is making a case for why he should be on this football team. And not only on this football team, but really a part of your offense. What he provides with his length, his athleticism, his catch radius.
And you're right, it all started at camp. I mean, he's continuing what he has already laid the foundation for.
This kid is 6'5".
Which is nice to see. You know, you see guys that come through camp and in practices, make plays in practices that are kind of 3/4 speed. You get in a game situation, you turn those lights on, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. 6'5", 218.
Yeah, it's nice to see he's reacting that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has 2 catches for 52 yards. More than that, it looked like.
It's pretty good average.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rosen and the coordinator have been talking about, you know, what play you want to run when the officials come back with the football.
Yeah, you also have time here. Remember, if this is a catch, it's out of bounds, so the clock will stop and they have plenty of time to figure it out.
All right, we're going to hear it from the official as you see it again.
After review, the ruling on the field has been changed to a completed catch.
18 yards.
The ball will be placed at the 6-yard line.
And a first and goal at the 6.
25 seconds. Please reset it for 25 seconds.
So they get another second on the scoreboard as well.
Great catch. Great catch. And you know what? We have to go back to Rosen and give him credit as well. That was a really well-thrown ball.
Remember, they had 1:11 to go when the drive started in his own territory. So let's see what happens here with 25 seconds to go. No timeouts remaining. Dolphins trying to get the touchdown here in the waning seconds. And this pass incomplete, thrown past Mark Walton, the running back. That seemed right past him. And so second down, 22 seconds.
He was trying to get the ball to Walton, a little back, coming out of the backfield, running a cross route, over route.
You know, that would have been difficult because if he didn't get in the end zone, they'd have to line up with that clock running.
Yeah, it's not really a throw you want to make there.
So now second and goal. Walton going out on a pattern and goes to Walton, but penalty flag is down.
Ball start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty.
And that was Michael Dieter, the rookie from Wisconsin. Ball start against Michael Dieter, the left guard. Number 63, there it is. So now the ball is out at the 11-yard line. Still second and goal. Rosen looking left. Now Rosen's going to run it. And can't stop the clock. 14 seconds to go. They're going to have to line up and clock the ball.
Make sure everybody gets set.
And they will. And they will have time.
They work on this in practice all the time. So it's not a surprise that they got back and down the ball.
So 7 seconds remaining. They're going to send the field goal team on now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good job by Rosen understanding there's pressure. You don't want to force the ball down here in the red zone and turn the football over, but you kind of realize that when there's a point where you realize you're not going to get in the end zone, you want to get down as quick as you can so you can get back up and spike this and perhaps have an extra play.
So here we are with a 23-yard field goal attempt by Jason Sanders. Sanders with a 48-yarder. And the kick is good. And so, pretty good job done, don't you think, by the Dolphin offense with 1:11 to go.
It was a good job. It was a nice 2-minute drill. You see Josh Rosen come in a situation where we're throwing the football, so the defense is pinning their ears back, and Rosen made some really good throws, and obviously Preston Williams made some amazing catches and move the ball on the field and get a field goal.
And the offensive line gave him time to do what he did.
They did. The only hiccup there was the penalty, the false start penalty, which you can't have pre-snap penalties. That takes you out of an area where you could probably score a lot easier.
So the score now 19-13 in favor of the Falcons. 8 plays, 70 yards. And there is Googs.
My man Googs. He still got that New England beard going.
Yeah.
It's a little hot down here for that, but
Matt Patricia has one too.
Yes, you're right. You're right. But Googs is a good football coach. I mean, a good guy, tough guy, and really good football coach. And I had a chance to be around him and see how he coaches. And he'll get this figured out. It's going to be a work in progress. People need to be patient with this offensive line. There's going to be a lot of young guys in there, and they're trying to cross-train guys like Jesse Davis to play a couple different positions. Michael Dieter's a guy they're high on, but it's going to take some time.
What was he doing? Why was he available?
That is a good question. Yeah, that is a good question. I think when Flores came down here, he offered him a job that was a slight promotion. You know how it works in this league, a slight promotion over what you're doing, and they brought him on over.
And I'll tell you what, it says something about Brian Flores, who has the courage, if you want to use that word, to make a coaching change and make a tough decision. But looks like he's that kind of guy.
A week into camp. And you see where he came from. New England's good at that. I mean, they'll let go of a guy that maybe they missed him. They just made a mistake.
All right, taking the knee here will be Matt Schaub running it out. And that will do it for the first half as the Dolphins get the last points. So at the half, our score, the Falcons 19 and the Dolphins 13. Stay with CBS 4 As we send it back to our CBS 4 News studios in Miami, Jim Berry will have the story of a new award for South Florida high school football players named in honor of Dolphin great Nat Moore. So, Nat, Bob, Kim, and I?
Yes.
We'll be back with the FPL halftime report and the second half after this news update.
Yeah.
Tonight's halftime report is sponsored by FPL. Activate your FPL energy analyzer today at fpl.com/take control. Tonight's telecast is also sponsored in part by your South Florida Chevy dealers. The latest member of the Chevrolet SUV family has arrived. Bold and sophisticated inside and out. The Chevrolet Blazer by the Florida Lottery. With cash for life, you could win a top prize of $1,000 every day for life. And by your local Toyota dealers. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. Tonight's halftime report is sponsored by FPL. Activate your FPL energy analyzer today at fpl.com/take control. Tonight's telecast is also sponsored in part by your Volkswagen dealers of South Florida. Check out local offers at vwflorida.com. By Flanagan's. Flanagan's, still the one for ribs. And by AutoNation. AutoNation wants your car. Get a top dollar offer and leave with a check. No purchase required.
And welcome back to Hard Rock Stadium, where at the half the Atlanta Falcons lead the Miami Dolphins 19-13. A very interesting first half, and we're getting to see some young players do their thing, and a lot to talk about in this thing. And as promised, it's time for the FPL halftime report. And now it's time for our highlights, and we're going to let the new guy, Jason Taylor, do the initial highlights. And
well, you know where I'm going with this. I mean,
yes.
I've got to go defensive. You say there's not a whole lot of defensive highlights tonight, but you got to look at the young guy, Christian Wilkins. And look, this is not the ACC anymore, and he's talked about it. You know, things happen quicker. There's a lot tighter spaces in there, but you like to see the energy he's playing with, taking on double teams, staying active, chasing balls, trying to get hands up and throwing lanes. You see him here spinning out, coming down the line of scrimmage, trying to make plays. And this is what interior linemen in the NFL have to do. They have to be active. They have to just make disruption and bodies inside. And every once in a while, you get a shot on a running back.
And so Wilkins played considerable action in that first half. But let's look at the offensive side. And Josh Rosen. And Josh Rosen, in his first appearance in a Dolphin uniform, Bob.
Well, the Dolphins had 6 possessions in the first half. Rosen had 4 of them. This first one, he makes some good plays. He scrambles around, he throws the ball outside. He had a touchdown and a field goal on his first 4 possessions. He makes a great play right here by keeping the drive alive. And then you don't ever want to do that. You don't ever want to throw the ball over when you can't see the linebackers, and make some great throws near the end of the half to Preston Wilson, who makes some great plays, and some pretty impressive stuff for some guys on the offense.
So let's take a look now at the FPL halftime stats, and that's what they show. And the one turnover was that interception. But, getting the 3 points at the end with 1:11 to go on the clock said something about a 2-minute drill as far as Josh Rosen was concerned. So other than that pick, he had a lot of, spark in what he did. So before we wrap up the FPL halftime report, we're going to send it down to the field as Kim Bokamper has Brian Flores, the head coach.
All right, Coach, you got a chance to look at your 2 quarterbacks in the first half. What did you see that you liked?
Well, I think they both managed the huddle pretty well. The communication was okay. Obviously, I don't like the turnover by Josh. And I think overall, as a team, we got to do a better job just with our fundamentals, our technique. I think the effort's really good, but we got to tackle better. We got to block them up a little bit better. We got to have better overall communication.
One thing nice to see after the turnover, your defense on a quick change, able to hold them out of the end zone, force the field goal.
Well, that's a great situation for us to go through. Have a little adversity, and we kind of pick each other up, defensively in that case, and then. It's got to be in all phases, special teams, offense, defense.
Certainly protection, a little bit of an issue, kind of getting that offensive line together, certainly a work in progress.
it's certainly that, but at the same time, we still got to do a good job with our fundamentals, our technique, our communication, and protect inside out. If we do those things, we'll be okay.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you, Bo.
Thank you. All right, guys, that's going to do it. That's Coach Brian Flores. After halftime, Dolphins trailing the Falcons 19-13. Let's send it back up to you in the booth.
All right, thank you very much, Bo. And Ito Smith returning the second half kickoff to the 21-yard line. Matt Sims is the new quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. He's been signed this past week, was on the Jets practice squads mostly. Kurt Benkert had a toe injury, and so he's out. And so here is Quadri Allison.
Okay, everybody's going to ask you when you say Matt Sims, the son of?
Yeah, who?
Phil.
Phil.
Phil Sims.
Is that the son of Phil Sims? Yes. Yeah. Matt Sims.
And he has another son who's now working in television.
Yeah.
Who used
Chris?
to be, yeah.
Chris Sims.
But that's, everybody says Sims.
Another Sims.
So Kurt Benkert went on the IR.
Correct. He had a toe injury.
They have Matt Ryan, Matt Schaub, and Matt Sims.
Yeah, you have to be a Matt to play quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Second down and 9 from the 22-yard line. And going to its running back, Quadri Allison. And a flag is down.
This flag was so far away from the play. It'd be interesting to see what this is.
There are fouls against both teams on the play. Ineligible receiver illegally downfield on the offense, number 61. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 53. Penalties offset, second down.
So it was Chandler Miller for the Falcons, but Adolphus Washington for the Dolphins, offsetting penalties. So it'll be second down and 9, replaying the down. So Matt Sims, quarterback, and Quadri Allison, 5th-round pick from Pitt, in at running back. Second down and 9. Allison picks up a couple. Well, to listen to tonight's game in Spanish, we're hoping you're enabling the secondary audio programming or SAP button on your viewing device. SAP services tonight, sponsored by the Florida Lottery. Know your limits, play responsibly.
It's interesting to see Vincent Taylor playing here in the early in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy that's played a lot of football for this team and really could be a starter. I think he's got that kind of ability and playmaking ability, but playing here in the third quarter, the first game.
Third down and 7. And the flags go down, 2 of them.
Ball start, offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty.
Adam Geddes, who's been with several clubs, including the Redskins, Giants, and Bucks. So kind of a halting beginning to this third quarter.
Well, you got a bunch of guys out there that are probably second stringers or third string. And some of them won't be around when the final roster is set.
Sims' pass incomplete, and it was intended for Zacchaeus, the rookie from Virginia. So 4th down, and the Dolphins with a 3-and-out. And Trenton Irwin from Stanford. Trenton Irwin, I know it looks like one of those Amendola, Welker kind of guys.
Yes.
You know, who can do a lot of things.
He does. A utility player. Long hair makes it look like sunshine a little bit. From remember the Titans.
Fair catch. Yep, that's right.
Remember the Titans.
Fair catch at the 39-yard line. So we'll see who comes out. Should be Josh Rosen, and it will be Josh Rosen when we come back.
copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
And we're back here at Hard Rock Stadium, and pleased to have Tom Garfinkel, the Vice Chairman, President, and CEO of the Miami Dolphins, and we'll chat with him a little bit. We have a cast of thousands here, including Tom, who doesn't have our shirt on, but he can get one if he wants. And a first down at the 39-yard line, and Josh Rosen with the handoff to Mark Walton. Walton cutting to the outside, and a good gain, just about of 8.5 yards on first down. And so, Tom, first of all, I got to say, great to have the addition of Jason Taylor up here. You know, how did you make that happen? How is that the toughest thing you've had to do?
It is fun, actually. He's definitely taken up the attractiveness quotient in the booth.
Hey, what's going on?
Thank you, Tom, for being with us.
Nat, what happened to Nat Moore? Let's get him back.
That's a shot on Nat, I guess. A shot on Nat, yeah.
Walton again gets the first down.
So, Tom, you were part of the group that went out in the coaching search and found Brian Flores. What was it about B-Flow that really made you think this is the guy?
Well, I think when we went out this time, Steve Ross, Chris Greer, really wanted to find the right leader of the organization, I think. And Brian impressed on a lot of different levels. I think Brian, is someone who knows how to handle adversity. He knows how to build a great team around him. He's really a leader of men. He's a mature adult. He communicates well. He's got a great heart. There's just a lot of things about Brian to like, and I think he's the kind of coach, hopefully, that we believe can build a program that can be sustainable. That's something that we can go out and be competitive for championships for a long period of time. And Brian's his own man. Now he's a grown man. He's an adult. This is a guy that's convicted about his decision making. Very smart, and frankly, just a really good person too, which is important in the context of trying to build the organization.
I think you got it right. From seeing things over the league, because he's all business, and he knows that about team, but not in the cliche form. Having guys play hard and everything, and I think you can see the difference already, regardless of what the record may be.
Well, he loves the game of football, and he, hear him talking to these players about honoring and respecting the game, and he believes in discipline. He believes in doing the simple things right. He believes in conditioning. The things about the game of football that are really important.
Alan Hearns got an 18-yard reception, and Bryce Butler just caught one there as the Dolphins had an impressive drive. You may have to stick around a while. He got 6 on that one. Bob?
Tom, renovations to this place. A few months ago you had tennis here. Last night you had world-class soccer here. In February you're going to have the Super Bowl here. Another.
Wow! Preston Williams has been unbelievable so far in this game. And we're going to let Tom, of course, talk about the facility here. But he's made catches like this in his first half. What a presence he has made.
He's 6'5" and 220 pounds. He just does that effortlessly.
27 yards on that play. And here is Walton.
Shortly after the draft, when we signed all the undrafted free agents, Marvin Allen, the assistant general manager, who Chris Greer brought in, told me, he's like, I love Preston. I said, tell me who you're most excited about. He said Preston Williams. So I think, I think a lot of people are excited about him and a lot of the other guys that these guys have brought in.
4 catches, 97 yards for him, and he's made some amazing catches here. Let's see if the Dolphins on 2nd and goal from the 1 can score. And we haven't forgotten, the question, Bob, that you asked Tom. And Walton's not going to get
the game's more exciting than anything I have to say. So
yeah, but
hey, this is where you need a fullback. You're on the 1-yard line. You're trying to run it in.
I love fullbacks.
Look at
this. We have pedestrian bridges and tunnels coming in with the idea that first of all, safety, but secondly, it's going to be easier to get to those outer lots, and the pedestrian traffic tends to hold up the vehicular traffic, which makes it harder to get out of the parking lots after the events. So this will help us. Help us get the traffic flow out. It'll be a lot easier to get in and out of these games and events here, and we're excited about it.
Here is Walton going outside, scoring, getting the touchdown.
Getting a block from the rookie 7th-round pick, Cox, number 38.
So I love a fullback.
One of the few teams that has a fullback.
Yes.
Rookie from Auburn, 7th-round pick is Cox. And Walton uses that block to score, the former University of Miami Hurricane.
As we talk about the fullback, not all teams employ a fullback anymore, and Cox goes out there.
I love it.
Gets one at the goal line, goes in the end zone, and gets another one that was unnecessary, but why not? You have pads on, might as well hit somebody.
Tell you, Josh Rosen, has other than that pick, has really added a spark here to this team, without question here. 9 plays, 61 yards. Jason Sanders with the extra point, and the kick is good, and it breaks the tie, and the Dolphins have taken a 20-19 lead. We're going to ask Tom, could you stay a little bit more?
Happy to.
Good.
Yeah. I'm going to watch the game either way. Might as well do it here.
That's right. Not a bad idea. 20-19 on the touchdown that gives the Dolphins their second lead of the game. So thank you, South Florida, for making Elliot Rudabay and Craig and Jim your team for local news. Tune in at 5, 6, 7, and 11 to CBS 4, the official home of your Miami Dolphins. And the ball into the end zone as the Falcons will take over on offense. So talking about the concern and the feeling of you and Stephen Ross for the community and the things that you're doing here.
Well, I think, I'm excited about some of the things that are going on. Football Unites, a program that we have where we've worked hard to try to bring people together. It's really sort of Steve's initiative, and Jason Jenkins, who does a great job for us, and his team getting out in the community, working with different people. We've engaged with over 64 partners in the community, including the Trayvon Martin Foundation, 5,000 role models, many, many others, the LGBTQ community, just really bringing people together, and law enforcement and youth, and just getting out there and using football as a platform to bring people together.
And it's a big year. You had a soccer game here yesterday, and this field looks terrific here.
Yeah, the field, we put in over $1 million of a new drainage system in here that actually sucks the water out of it. So in spite of some of the rainfall that we've had, this field's pristine, and I think people, with the FC Barcelona and Napoli here last night, people don't realize that 150-pound guys dancing around the field's a little different than 300-pound guys digging in. So the field's in perfect shape tonight. We're real proud of the grounds crew.
So you talked about Football Unites, and there's a lot that the organization, you and obviously Steve Ross does in the community with Rise and mentioned Football Unites. What else out there right now is kind of the focus for this football team off the field?
Well, I think youth football is a big priority. We're proud to bring in now 95 high school teams into practices over the last couple of years. By the end of the next 2 years, we'll have brought in every high school football team in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties to practice. We brought in many other youth as well. And, I think it needs to be said, Stephen Ross, I can tell you, having worked with him here for many years, know him well, Stephen Ross is a good man. Stephen Ross has a big heart. He cares about the community here. He cares about people. This is a man who started a foundation, Rise, to fight racism, put millions of dollars into that initiative. This is a man who helped us, supports us with Football Unites. He is committed to these causes. He's committed to social injustice causes and fighting those. He's committed to public education with millions and millions of dollars to public universities. It's a guy that started with nothing and built this company out of nothing over many, many years. And I'll tell you, Jason, I really feel strongly that there's a lot of ills in this country right now. Racism, social injustice, the decline of public education, these things. And these ills are not going to be solved. These problems are not going to be fixed by the angry mob on Twitter. They're going to be fixed, by people who address things with civility, with discourse, who get in a room with those who actually they oppose, right, those who have differences of opinions with them, and start a civil discourse and have conversations with people that you may not even agree with, and just listen and have conversations and try to fix these problems.
Yeah. And it goes for everybody.
It goes for everybody. Yeah. We all need to work harder to do that. We at the Dolphins, we look at football as a platform. It's really from Steve's leadership that we do that. And again, Jason and his team, and getting out in the community and doing these things, just try to bring people together. I don't want to get on a soapbox about it, but I really believe in this, and I can tell you that
he believes in it.
We need it in this country, and Stephen Ross is a good man and a leader who's doing these things and committed to it.
No, I think, as you said, it's important. It needs to be said. And it's,
how excited about the Super Bowl are you? How excited are you?
The Super Bowl will be a lot of fun here. We've been looking forward to it. With the $550 million renovation of the stadium, it's a totally different place than the last time we had one here in 2010, and it'll be a great way to showcase the city of Miami here in South Florida, and we're excited about showcasing this stadium, the Hard Rock Stadium, to everybody. And the best Super Bowl will be the one we're in and win. So that's the one I'm most looking forward to.
On first down and 10 at the 45, and the Falcons get into Dolphin territory. They had a third down situation, and the penalty kept the drive going. They get 7 yards here. 20-19, the Dolphins are leading. Just under 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Tom Garfinkel, the vice chairman, president, CEO of the Dolphins, talking about an array of things.
Well, I think it should go without saying too. Stephen's committed to diversity. I mean, you look at we've got people of color. We're the only team in the NFL. With Brian and Chris, leading as a general manager and our head coach, and Marvin as our assistant general manager. These are things he believes in and is committed to. And the events of the last couple of days, I want to say that because I can't express enough. I love this guy, and he is a wonderful human being, and it needs to be said. So thank you for letting me say that. And if I could also say one more thing, it's my wife's grandmother, Margaret Jordan. It's her 100th birthday on Tuesday.
Oh,
so
my goodness!
I want to wish Mags a happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
That should have been
awesome.
That should have been first.
That should have been first. Yeah. Happy birthday, Mags!
Making up for it now. There was a fumble and it was recovered by the Falcons.
Third down.
So it'll be third down right here. If you would have forgotten that, you would have heard about it. No.
Well. I don't know that it was expected, but
gaining points. Gaining points.
Well, she deserves them.
Yeah, that's awesome. 100 years old.
Is Mags out there watching tonight?
I hope so. I'm not sure. I hope so.
Yeah.
Third down to 2. We're looking for a stop right here, so that Tom can actually call Mags. Third down and 2. Sims' pass, and it's caught and close to the first down.
Well, they marked it short of the mark of the line of the game there.
Yeah, Zacchaeus. It is short.
Zacchaeus stretched the ball out, but they spotted it just shy.
Oh, his knee went down first.
Here's a preseason ball on the 45-yard line. Go for it on 4th and 1.
And they probably would do it in the regular season.
You're right. You're right. At midfield, it's not a bad call.
Ollison is the running back, tight formation. They go to Ollison and dives forward for the first down to the 43, but a flag down. Another penalty marker.
One of the things I really enjoy about Brian is, he disciplines these guys. He's hard on them. He loves on them too, and he's consistent with all of them in terms of his messaging and how he talks to them, how he treats them,
if you're authentic, you're on third base.
That's an authentic man you're looking at on TV right there. So,
and players can see that and sense it, and they can see through someone trying to be someone or not. So if a coach comes around trying to be a Bill Belichick or a Bill Parcells or whoever it may be, players do see through that. So I've only heard great things about him.
Brian's not trying to be anybody but Brian Flores.
That's great.
And he's not just he's not trying to be another Bill Belichick. He's got a lot of people who have influenced him, and he's taken the best of all those people. Matt Bodger punting, and the fair catch called for by Trent Irwin, and he makes it at the 10. Tom, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for allowing me to come. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, and thank you for your words on Stephen Ross, because somebody has to put that in perspective, and you did that well tonight.
Wonderful guy. We're lucky. I'm proud to work for him.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
3:19 to go in the third. The Dolphins are up 20-19. Our thanks to Tom Garfinkel. Back with more football in a moment. Tonight, don't miss the Fantasy 5 winning numbers in the news following the game. Only on CBS 4, your official Florida lottery station. Good look at Josh Rosen, who remains in the game. 1st and 10 at the 10. Long way to go for Rosen. Patrick Laird is the running back, gets the call, and Laird pushes forward for a couple of yards as we send it down to Bo and Gottschall.
All right, time for Bo's Battles, brought to you by Infinity with Devin Gottschall here. And Devin got some opportunity to work out there today. How did it feel with that group you have?
It was great, man. You know, getting to flying to the ball. You know, always great to get out there with the guys. You know, playing against the opposite team. You know, been banging on each other the last couple of days. So get to come out here and play against another team. You know, it's a great opportunity.
Got a big group in that defensive tackle group. You guys are going to be asked to do a lot of things in this defense. You like that group you're working with?
Yes, sir. Day by day. You know, we had Robert Condici. You know, day by day. You know, just keep working. Listen to Coach Hobb, listen to PG, listen to Coach Flo each and every day.
You're looking at this defense every day from front to back. How good can you guys be?
Scary. Yeah. Scary because we're young. We're a young team. We're a young defense. So, you know, we can be scared. We can be good as we wanted to. You know, the sky's the limit. Coach Flo said that each and every day. You know, y'all defense, I'm going to give you the keys like PG said every day. You know, you got to make it a great defense.
Such a young team. You're kind of one of the old guys on that defense now.
I ain't going to say, I'm my third year. You know, I'm only 24 years old. You know, got a lot of football left to play. You know, I'm only 24, so, you know, I'm excited about it.
So you're a little more seasoned.
Yeah, I'm a little more seasoned. You know, going to my third season. I just saw some tricks. I done played against some good vets, so, you know, I'm ready for my third season.
All right, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Appreciate it, boss. Thank you.
All right, guys, Devin Gottschall, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Bo. And a 10-yard pass to Bryce Butler, putting the Dolphins in decent position, starting from the 10-yard line. They're at the 25 right now. It'll be 2nd down and 8 from the 25. Rosen 10 of 16 for 152 yards are his numbers. And Laird with a good run, the best run of the night by any Dolphin running back, gets the first down to the 45-yard line. Ryan Neal, who was hurt last year, makes the play, and a good 19-yard scamper.
Yeah, nice blocking up front. The center, Reed. Fuller's in there. Some of these young guys getting in that offensive line, doing a nice job opening the hole.
And Laird, undrafted rookie from the University of California, turning the corner. And Kendall Sheffield chases him out of bounds after a pickup of 2.
Starting to see Miami's offensive front here leaning on Atlanta a little bit and getting a chance to open some holes and have some success in this run game. You know, it may not be the first group of guys, but still you want this offense to establish some confidence and some continuity and some rhythm. You can start to do this here a little bit when you start running the football, and you know the sideline gets all jacked up when Laird breaks one and high stepping and jumping over people, so it becomes contagious.
You got Isaiah Prince, the 6th-round pick from Ohio State, up there too. Here's the play action, and Bryce is open. Bryce Butler is open, gets the first down and out of bounds. Boy, he's been a reliable receiver in this game, hasn't he, Jason?
Yeah, he has. I mean, I'll give it to Rosen. He's done a really good job of putting the ball where it needs to be and using guys as they're available, not trying to do too much. And
he really has. He throws well on the run.
13-yard pickup here. Ten seconds remain in this third quarter. 1st and 10 at the 41 of the Falcons. Rosen drills it, and it's caught. Pass completion inside the 20-yard line to Clive Walford, former New York Jets.
Tight end straight up the field. Makes a little fake to the back, pulls the linebackers up. That's a nice throw.
And time runs out. 21-yard pass. Rosen impressing, to say the least. Here's the catch by Walford. And a terrific throw by Rosen, 21 yards. That's the end of the third quarter.
Dolphins preseason football on CBS 4 is sponsored in part by Infinity. Empower the drive. By Flanagan's. Flanagan's, still the one for ribs. And by FPL. Activate your FPL Energy Analyzer today at FPL.com/take control.
It's the first quarter and first down. Rosen throws incomplete, was chased back. It's the fourth quarter this is. Start of the fourth. Dick Stockton along with Bob Greasy, Jason Taylor, Kim Bokamper down on the sideline. Rosen now 12 of 19 for 186 yards and has thrown 1 interception. But he has been a spark plug, no question tonight, Bob.
Very impressive. I'm really really impressed with what I've seen tonight from Josh Rosen. He's had the opportunity. He played the entire second quarter, and he's going to play the entire third quarter and into the fourth.
Quick toss, and the completion is made by Allen Hurns. Fumbles, and recovered by the Falcons. So Allen Hurns, who started 7 games with the Dallas Cowboys last year, recovered by Phillips, Del'Shawn Phillips, rookie from Illinois. So Allen Hurns caught it, fumbled it. Atlanta gets back. And we're back, in Kids Cam is sponsored by Legoland Florida Resort. Awesome awaits at Legoland Florida Resort.
Ball replaced for 1 yard.
Great to see the youngsters out here. Sims, the quarterback, and hands off to Ollison. And the tackle made by Torrey McTyer, who's come into the game. Trey Watson as well. Second down and 8. Dolphins secondary now has Cornell Armstrong and Torrey McTyer at corner. Montre Hartage, undrafted rookie from Northwestern, and Maurice Smith, who played 7 games last year for the Dolphins, at safety. Second down and 8. Sims under pressure gets away, going to run and dives forward to the 23, about 3 yards shy of the first down. Well, earlier tonight we asked you to participate in our trivia question brought to you by Gunther Mazda. Can you name the Dolphins player who holds the club record for consecutive games played? The answer is John Denny, here tonight and playing tonight, the veteran long snapper.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to ask you?
I think
I'm sorry. So let me ask you the question.
I knew that.
Who's the player?
I knew it too, because I was very upset when he passed me.
Yes.
So this is
well, you had to be.
This is a point of contention for me, though, because I love John Denny to death, a longtime teammate of mine, but he's a long snapper.
Yeah.
Like it counts because I got so much respect for him in the way he handles his business and how professional he is.
You can't take it for granted that you're going to play 224 consecutive games.
No, because anything can happen. You're right. Anything can happen in this league, but the rules have changed now. You can't even line up on long snappers anymore.
That's right.
When I first came in the league, Mike Westhoff, the old great special teams coach here, we used to put like 900 pounds of people over the center when the ball was snapped to try to shrink his neck. Well, they changed the rules now. But
he'd have a tough time now, Westhoff, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So good for John Denny. He's a great guy, great teammate, and what a heck of a streak he's got going on.
He makes some tackles still
yes,
going
he does.
down, too.
Yes, he does.
4th down, and Trenton Irwin, good high kick, good hang time, and Irwin, not a bad return, fights his way to the 37-yard line. By the way, former punter Jeff Fiegels holds the NFL record 352 games. And you're going to tell me it's a punt.
Seeing the trend here, the special teams players, you see the trend here?
That's right.
Yeah.
No, but I'll tell you what, for John Denny to be doing what he's still doing, I mean, I retired 7 years ago, and he's still playing, and 40 years old or however long, and I mean, it's a true testament to what he's done and perfected his craft.
Jake Rudock is the new quarterback, 3rd quarterback, and been with the Lions, practice squad the last 3 seasons with Detroit. Taking over at quarterback and connects with his first pass. I thought forward progress was enough for the first down personally, as the pass is completed for a 10-yard gain to Irwin. And Trenton Irwin coming out of the game, being replaced. It is a first down. Rudock played in 3 games in 2017. Started 1 year at the University of Michigan after transferring from Iowa. Ball at the 47. Miles Gaskin. Flag down.
Yeah, that's gonna
maybe a hold.
That's going to be a hold on Kyle Fuller, I believe.
Gaskin, by the way, is a 7th round pick
number 61
from Washington.
First down.
And Kyle Fuller guilty of holding.
And that ball was snapped. He just grabbed the defender and tried to twist and sling him on the ground. And it's tough to do. You have 2 officials in the NFL standing behind the football now, one on each side. So what you used to be able to get away with, you just can't anymore. I mean, whether it be hands to the face or the holding or the defensive holding, sometimes is called a lot more now. I mean, a lot less now because the official's been moved.
First and 20. Rudock will hand off to Gaskin. Nothing doing. Jacob Tuioti Mariner brings Gaskin down.
So a drive that started out pretty good for Jake Rudock, completing a pass for 10 yards in the initial play, has now gotten backed up and finds himself in a 2nd and 20 situation. So I would anticipate here a little screen or something to get the ball out, try to get a piece back.
Never have to get all at once. And that's what he does. The check down to Gaskin. And Gaskin gets to the 45-yard line, still about 12 yards away. Psychological mystery that examines science versus religion and the origins of evil. Don't miss the newest supernatural drama, Evil, Thursdays this fall only on CBS 4, the official home of your Miami Dolphins.
Well, I know it's not where Chad O'Shea wants to be here with a 3rd and 12 situation, but it beats 3rd and 20 and really does give you a chance to get a deep dig or something and get to the sticks here, pick up the first down.
Jones, don't make a mistake. Get something out of it. Punt, live for another day. And this is the kind of play you're talking about. Gaskin makes the catch, gets hit, and a flag down. And it could be a first down.
Yeah, helmet to helmet here maybe.
And that was Jason Stanley from Georgia, playing for the team from Georgia.
Personal foul, unnecessary use of the helmet on the defense, number 23.
What it was.
15 yards from the dead ball spot. First down.
Did you hear that exhale?
Dropped his head.
Oh, but he didn't. Okay,
can't drop your head.
Stop.
Can't drop your helmet out.
He dropped his helmet, but he did not use his helmet to hit him on his helmet.
Right. That's a good point.
I mean, yes,
yeah. It wasn't helmet to helmet.
It wasn't.
But
Right.
he did drop his
right.
helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
As you see, I'm trying to.
No, I'm
trying to play the.
No, you'd be a good lawyer.
I'm trying to sit on the fence.
No, you'd be a great attorney.
Oh,
for the defense, Miles Gaskin.
Exactly.
You'd be a good defense attorney. Stephon Anthony, former Dolphin, familiar face.
Some of these things I understand.
But you don't like.
I understand the thought process behind it. I think the officiating of it, the calling of it, the execution of it, I think is leaves much to be desired. But I'm an old school defensive player. I do want people to keep their heads up, though. Every kid out there watching this game right now, keep your head up when you're tackling.
You want to promote football.
Yes.
2nd down and 7. Rudock has time and wide open. The catch is made. And Trenton Irwin, the undrafted rookie from Stanford. What is he, one of those wild card guys that New England? He looks more and more like that kind of a guy, doesn't he? He gets 22 on that play.
Yeah, Bobby looks like
flag.
Edelman, Amendola.
Yeah.
Welker.
If
Welker.
You got to cut, they cut 90 players. They cut 37 of them down to 53, but they also pick up 7 guys or 10 guys on the taxi squad. And these guys, if they're not fighting for a position on the roster, then at least on the practice squad.
But they may be, with this new coach, they could be playing for a spot on the roster. You don't know that they're not.
That's right.
The thing is, these guys that shine in the preseason, sometimes it's hard once you have to release them first. They have to go out. In the open market, and then you can sign them back to the practice squad. So some of these guys that have success, you're worried that you can't hide them. You can't hide them for a couple of days to get them back.
Or you tell them, stub your toenail or something. Get hurt. Get hurt.
Gaskin got 2 yards. I don't think you can hide players anymore anyway.
No, not really. I think you kind of, as you're releasing them, you strike a deal. Like, look, we have to release you to get to our number. here's what we'll do. We'll bring you back in a couple of days. If anybody else offers you, shoot me a text and we'll beat it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. That's what happens. And there are scouts from teams watching these games
Stadium's
today.
full of them, yep.
2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. Gaskin gets to about the 6. Justin Zimmer makes the tackle. You know, interesting about the Atlanta Falcons, all 6 division games that they'll play this year will come after their Week 9 bye.
What?
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? All 6 division games that Dan Quinn's club will have to play comes after their bye week, which is the 9th week of the season.
Wow.
That's got to be, it's not very normal.
No, it's not normal at all.
You're talking about putting pressure on a football team late in the season.
Yeah.
3rd and goal. And there's the catch, and there's the score. Touchdown to Myles Gaskin. He did a lot of it himself in this drive, guys.
He did. He had a great series. And how about this throw here by
nice
Rudolph?
throw. Yeah, he let him.
He looks pretty poised.
Gaskin was looking back, and he threw it to the end zone side.
6-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah. Watch Rudolph. He's going to throw it to the inside. There you go. Forces him to turn around to catch the ball. Knew he was open.
You know, we wish the best for Jim Caldwell, who is was going to be a very important, prominent advisor, coach for the head coach, and now because of whatever physical problems, not doing it. And I'm really wondering, and I don't know whether he was hired after this, but maybe he knew about Rudolph, and maybe he suggested a guy who was on the practice squad for 3 years with the Detroit Lions.
Right.
Yeah.
That this was a find. I was just thinking about that. Anyway, the extra point is good. Miami leads 27-19 with 8:18 to go. Good drive by Jake Rudolph and company. And the drive of the game brought to you by your South Florida BMW centers. And it was Rudolph. 9 plays, 63 yards, and hitting the running back Myles Gaskin, the 7th-round pick from the University of Washington, for the touchdown, the first passing touchdown of the game for the Dolphins, who now lead 27-19. And this is the first kick we've seen sail out of the end zone for a touchback, and so the Falcons will take it out on the 25. So an 8-point lead. That's the biggest margin either team has enjoyed in this game. Dolphins had a 3-0 lead, and then the Falcons scored a touchdown, missed the 2-point conversion. Miami led 10-6, and then all of a sudden Atlanta went on a spree and led 19-10 before the Dolphins came back. 17 unanswered points by Miami here, and Sims has gone deep here and knocked away by Nick Needham. Good play by Needham from UTEP. He's been involved in a lot of plays tonight, guys.
Good play, yeah.
Needham's played a lot of snaps tonight, and as we saw in the first half, got a little baptized in the NFL early and had some issues, but comes in here really trailing the play in a man-to-man coverage, but gets his hand up, knocks the ball away, and makes a good play.
C.J. Wharton from FIU is the intended receiver. Second down and 10. Pressure breaks down and drop pass by Wharton. Pressure from behind that time, and another penalty flag. Good pressure was Tyrone Holmes.
Holding. Defense, number 40. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So they call Needham with the holding penalty. Will give the Falcons an automatic first down here.
Well, it's a tough one here. Needham with another tough play and gets his hands up in the face of.
Good call. Good call.
Hands in the face of Ward and grabs a hold. It's not necessary. Just play with your feet and your hands. Stay in front of the receiver. Baseball turn if he gets on top of you and run up underneath.
30, Ollison. Rookie from the University of Pittsburgh, tackled by Jonathan Ledbetter. Well, coming up tonight, don't miss the Fantasy 5 winning numbers in the news following the game. Only on CBS 4, your official Florida lottery station.
You know, sometimes these young guys that are trying to make the football team, they look at the numbers as well. They understand there's a 53 on the roster. There's 43 that dressed on Sunday. There's 91 in the camp right now because the Dolphins have an exemption for an international player. So they're trying to do too much. Like, they're trying to so hard to try to do too much, it ends up hurting them.
It's easy to say, but tough to do, not doing that.
For sure.
Good pass that time to Khalil Lewis. Gain of 15 yards. Well, time now to revisit our keys to the game presented by your South Florida Chevy dealers. And we started with you, Jason, talking about Brian Flores and what he wanted to accomplish tonight. So how would you rate it?
Well, he won a clean operation. Didn't get that a few times a night, which even if it's once, it'll upset him and drive him crazy. Penalty free, we've not been that for sure. Working the technique, I think they did. I think they worked the technique in the passing game and the running game. Defensively, they did it pretty well at times. Not here with the missed tackles. The one thing that they have not done, knock on wood, they've had 11 guys in the huddle every time. So that's a win there, but there's a lot of things to clean up.
Meanwhile, we talked about the quarterbacks with you, Bob, to start, and then your thought.
Well, Fitzpatrick started the ball game, had 2 possessions, had a field goal and a punt. Rosen came in for the next 6 possessions, had 2 touchdowns, a field goal, and 1 bad interception. But he played very well overall.
On the run, dropping the pass is Sean Bain. Incomplete. He was open and could have put the Falcons in business right there. And you know, that 1 interception, which was interesting because they had the ball at the 3-yard line and the Falcons had to settle for a field goal because the Dolphins defense kind of tightened up.
Which is a great situation for the Dolphins defense. So now you get a sudden change. These are things you want to practice, as I talked about earlier in the game. You want to practice these things. You don't want bad things to happen in the game, but when they do, it's a great situational experience for a young defense. So it was good. They went in there and forced a field goal.
2nd down and 10. Sims' pass in traffic, and a good catch made by Zacchaeus.
Well, Sims got rid of this ball Sims got rid of this ball just in time.
Yeah.
And Dwayne Hendricks made a really nice move in the right end spot. Turned the corner tight and put a lick on him.
Good catch, though, by Blake in a 7-yard play.
Brian Flores told us before the game that Fitzpatrick would probably play the first quarter. Rosen would get the next 2 quarters. And that's about the way it worked out. Rosen was in for 39 plays, and Fitzpatrick only 13 plays.
Here's a good run down the sideline. That time by Tony Brooks-James, undrafted rookie from Oregon. But I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to get to play a lot more next week against Tampa Bay, his former team.
Yeah, that would be nice for him.
I think that's the plan. 18-yard run, by the way, by Brooks-James, and a 1st down on the 15. That's Fitzpatrick going to get his bigger opportunity. But, you know, just because you're playing a lot doesn't mean, you know, you're going to play better. Rosen did produce. Right? No question about that.
For the most part, he produced.
Yeah.
He made 1 bad mistake.
1 bad mistake. Good run that time by Ollison. And Ollison into the end zone for the touchdown. Condrey Ollison from the University of Pittsburgh runs the 15 yards for the score to narrow the gap to 27-25 with 4:43 to go.
Well, that was way too easy.
Yeah.
The right side of the Dolphins defense there just put up no resistance. And
now in the old days, the coach on the sideline would not want a tie game. You don't want to go into overtime in preseason. But he's going for 2 points and a tie.
And that's, you know, even though you're absolutely correct, this is a chance to get a critical 2 to tie a game.
They got it.
Sims, and they did get it. Yep, you saw it coming. C.J. Wharton. And the score is tied at 27, so an impressive drive by Rudock of the Dolphins, but then the Falcons come back with a big one.
Falcons did answer back. Matt Sims led him on a nice drive there and able to tie this score up. We'll see how excited Matt Sims is if he has to go to overtime and keep playing.
So we'll see. We do have plenty of time, folks, for more points.
Yeah, we do.
Let's face it, at 4:43, but we're all even now, 27. And we're back for the kickoff, and Myles Gaskin, who scored the last touchdown for the Dolphins, on the return. Gaskin trying to find running room, and a good return by Myles Gaskin as he brings it out to the 29-yard line as we send it down to Kim Camper.
Time for a nice player profile brought to you by our South Florida Audi dealers. Got Kenyon Drake, and Kenyon, got a lot of work in there today. How'd you feel?
I felt really good. Felt good to be able to get out there, get your feet wet a little bit. Offense did the first offense got in there, got a nice little drive, got 3 points. Wanted to punch it in, but, that's all comes with a little bit of work that we're going to continue to do in practice.
You got a feel for this offense during training camp. How do you like what you're seeing out there?
I have a lot of hope for this offense. I feel like, the more we're out there, we communicate with each other, build a camaraderie. I feel like we can go out there and score a lot of points this year. So I look forward to the next game and continue to come out here and hope that, second, third teams go out here and get this, take care of this win.
Not many teams in this league anymore that have a fullback, but you got Chandler Cox in there. How do you like running behind a fullback these days?
He's an Auburn guy, but, I won't hold that against him. But, he goes in there. He's still out there doing his job. So, I know he's going to be tired after this game. But, he's a rookie. You got to get his dues in. So I look forward to him doing a lot more for this season.
Yeah, between you and Kalen, looks like a nice-looking backfield back there.
Oh, yeah. Kalen, had a nice little Superman dive in the end zone today. Back scored 3 touchdowns today. So our room is doing pretty good. Going to look at the film and see what we can improve on.
All right, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
All right, Kenyon Drake, back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, Bo, thank you very much. And Rudock picking up where he left off. And that was Said Blacknall, who was picked up on waivers in July from the Raiders, gets 14 yards and a first down at midfield, or I should say the 45 for the Dolphins. Rudock looks like a poised quarterback, Bob.
He does. He's doing very well.
And there is the handoff to Laird, and he's going to be trapped behind the line. Will lose 5 yards. Delshon Phillips led the charge for the Falcons. Under 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter as Chad O'Shea calling the offensive plays in what is a high-scoring first preseason game. Tied at 27. Seesaw game, and the interception would have been a pick six dropped by Hamp Cheevers on the pass out in the flat. That's one Rudock would want back, even though it was dropped, right?
Yeah, I think as soon as his ball was let go, he knew it. I mean, Cheevers jumped this, and
yeah,
this ball has to be cut.
Looking off. He was looking him off, and then he threw it right to the receiver, but there was a defensive man right between them.
Rudock almost lost his footing, getting chased, and throws the ball away. Good pressure that time by Chris Odom, who started. We saw him early in the game. By the way, Cheevers, who failed to make that pick six, undrafted rookie from Boston College, and that's where the head coach Brian Flores played his college ball as a linebacker, BC. So Olamide Zaccheaus back deep. Dolphins getting the ball to the 45.
I wonder, I broadcast with Keith Jackson at Boston College. I wonder if Flores was playing back then.
He's 38 years
38.
old. Yeah.
So what would it be, about
18 years ago, yeah.
18, 16 years ago?
Is that when you were working with Keith Jackson? Keith Jackson?
Oh, no.
Might have been earlier than that, Bob. I think that was a little late for Keith. It's catch of the day, but it's catches of the day, brought to you by Flanagan's. because you can't just show one of Preston Williams.
No, there's just too many good things he did tonight. I mean, route running, coming back to the ball, twisting his body in awkward ways, going up and getting balls, and surplus catches he just made look simple. So I think it's great having a guy like him on the football team, especially when you have someone like Devontae Parker, who everyone's trying to figure out, at what point is he going to take that next step and make some big plays. I think Preston Williams really starts to push Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker is 6'3", Preston Williams 6'5", so they both are big receivers, nice targets.
If you get those two guys on the outside playing the same way, making plays that way, it's tough for a defense to defend that.
Yeah.
Chris Lamons, undrafted rookie from South Carolina, with a pretty good hit on that last pass attempt. 2nd down and 10. But I tell you, Preston Williams an eye-opener tonight without question.
Yes, sir.
Here is Sims. Completes underneath. And saving the first down was Tyler Patman, who played 12 games with the Jaguars. 6-yard gain. So it'll be 3rd and short. Not so short. They need 4.
So we'll stop here by the Dolphins will get the ball back and
give him a chance.
Give Jake Rudolph a chance in the 2 minutes to win it.
And pressure, and down he goes. And so they'll have that opportunity. That was Jonathan Ledbetter with his 2nd sack of the game. A loss of 5. Tyrone Holmes also there. And so we're down to the 2-minute warning here. And the Falcons facing 4th and 9. Chance for the Dolphins to pull this one out. We'll be back. CBS 4 after the game for our post-game show. Bo will have interviews with players, and you'll hear from Dolphins head coach Brian Flores. We'll also take you behind the scenes with the Dolphins Football Unites campaign. And Jason, Bob, and I will break things down from the booth. We'll take a look ahead to Week 2 versus the Buccaneers, and that's all coming up on the CBS 4 post-game show.
Dick, I think they're going for it on 4th down.
And 9, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they may be faced with this late in the game. It's a game situation.
Watch the hard count, though. Watch the hard count.
Right. Well, you got 10 seconds left. 4th and 9. Got to go for it. So here it is. See what you do, Mr. Sims. Well, he gets sacked. And now the Dolphins will take over on downs at the 6-yard line. And it was Dwayne Hendricks, ladies and gentlemen.
Dwayne Hendricks, the undrafted free agent out of Pitt. Yeah.
Pitt, yeah.
2nd sack of the game.
Dan Quinn, the coach for the Falcons, says, hey, we don't want to go overtime. So we're going to either make a 1st down or we're going to give the ball up, and the Dolphins are going to kick a field goal.
You just see Hendricks here on the edge with a little long arm right past the double team as the running back comes and makes a big play for the young fella inside the red zone. Give your offense the ball back with 6 yards to go for the win. His 2nd sack of the night, too, by the way.
Gaskin is the running back. It's 1st and goal at the 6. Rudock has completed 6 of his 8 passes. Here's Gaskin. No gain on the play. And a flag. Or timeout called? Yes.
30-second timeout.
30-second timeout called by Miami. That's the first. They have 2 remaining. Atlanta has 3 themselves. So I wonder, guys, the courtesy of Dan Quinn going for it, not knowing that he can lose the game easily. Does Brian Flores say we're not going to go for a touchdown here? We're going to go and set up the field goal to win the game.
No.
Well, don't be,
I think
I'm throwing it out.
I think Dan Quinn understands. I'm sorry,
I think
Bob.
they both understand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't want to go to overtime either.
They understand what's going on, and it doesn't mean anything. Whether they score a touchdown or whether we score a field goal.
Right. Running play to Gaskin, and Gaskin is in for the touchdown. 6-yard touchdown run. Hey, just Hey guys, still 147 on the clock and 3 timeouts for Atlanta.
Plenty of time.
By the way.
There's still plenty of time.
By the way.
But we'll see what Miami does here. If Miami kicks the extra point, and if Atlanta happens to score, they'll go for 2 for the win.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Falcons do have time. Here is the Gaskins' second touchdown of the game up the middle. He caught a touchdown pass and he ran for one. And the Dolphins lead 33-27. Jason Sanders for the extra point. Not a good snap, but the kick is good. 2 plays, 6 yards, and it's 34-27.
Good blocking up front in the offensive line. All right.
So we have 1:47 to go, and Falcons have 2 timeouts remaining. Dan Quinn's team, amazing that Super Bowl the year before had the same record the Dolphins did last year, 7-9. In the last 35 games, they're 18-17. They've been basically a 500 team.
Yeah.
Yep. Tony Brooks James standing back at the goal line. Sanders getting set to kick off.
But they are a very talented football team.
Yes, they are. Oh, no. When you have Matt Ryan and Julio Jones.
Yeah. I mean, they've got some really talented guys over there. Mohamed Sanu, Calabria.
Yep.
I mean, there's Devontae Freeman.
They had a lot of injury situations last year. I mean,
and they had some defensive issues as well.
Yeah,
That's part of the reason why Dan Quinn, let go of his coordinators and took it over.
Deion Jones, Keanu Neal, Ricardo Allen, all hurt last year, and they were key. Well, come watch the Miami Dolphins take on the Ravens at Hard Rock Stadium September 8th. Yes, football is indeed back. A limited number of tickets remain, so visit Dolphins.com to secure your seats now. And that's going to be a good game, too, because the Ravens made the playoffs last year. They have Lamar Jackson and a strong running game. Their running game is outstanding. And their defense, of course.
It's always tough nose.
Yep, that's what they're known as. There's a pass that is caught by Jaden Graham, tight end. And tackle is made by Hardage, Montre Hardage.
You got to understand situations here a little bit, though. You want to tackle that guy in bounds and make that clock keep running and make Atlanta burn their timeouts. Had a chance to wrap him up and get him on the ground, but went low, and he was able to kind of fly over the top and get out of bounds.
So 2nd and 2 now at the 33. They spread it out with 5 wide receivers. Well, they have a tight end in there as well in the slot. And the slant play is caught, and a first down to C.J. Wharton. And another first down, this time at the 42-yard line. Hurry up offense here with the clock under 1.5 minutes to go. Rivers made that last play. Ball at the 41 of Atlanta. And here is Sims. Has time. Dropped. Incomplete. Drop pass that time by Tony Brooks James. Brings up 2nd and 10, and the clock stops at 1:18.
Yeah, that's the ball should have been caught there. Tony Brooks James is
and he was
trying to get his head up the field too much. Yeah, he would have still been running and had a chance to get out of bounds there. But you see, as these defenders start to get a little tired, this pass rush starts to slow down, and there's some D linemen sticking the blocks up front. So the question is Patrick Graham at some point going to gallop a blitz here and bring maybe more than Atlanta can block, try to generate some pressure? The problem is you have to play man behind it.
They don't blitz here. It's a 4-man rush, and this pass is caught into Dolphin territory. Still on his feet is Khalil Lewis, and the former University of Cincinnati Bearcat has a first down to the 31-yard line. So hold the phone, folks. 28 yards there.
They're not getting much rush, allowing guys to find holes in these zones.
They're tired.
And under 1 minute remaining. And again, no pressure. And here's the pass, incomplete. And the flag is down. Penalty marker with 47 seconds.
I think they called Dwayne Hendricks for a hold here as he was trying to get in the way of the tight end climbing up the field.
Holmes put on a good pass rush for the Dolphins.
As you see Patrick Graham there, figure out what to call to dial up.
Holding. Defense. Number 73.
It's on Dwayne Hendricks, as you mentioned.
First down.
And so it'll be a first down. The big question is 47 seconds. Can they keep the Falcons out of the end zone?
Yeah, he got cracked down here. Got cracked down on here by Christian Blake, and I think he feels like Blake was holding him, and Blake feels like Hendricks was holding him, and this is an offensive tilted game, so they always get the calls.
It comes out at the end.
No sour grapes here.
Is that my outside voice?
And here's Sims' throw. Incomplete. It'll be 43 seconds remain in this fourth quarter.
The only good thing about a penalty in a 2-minute situation like this, I know it sounds crazy, but you get a little bit of rest.
Yes.
Especially if it's one of the ones that perplexes the officials a little bit. So that one there took about 30 seconds for them to talk it out and figure it out. Those 20, 30 seconds are priceless for a defensive lineman trying to catch his breath.
Second down and 10. Battle of attrition here. Sims gets time. And another incomplete pass. Brings up third down and 10. You know that if the Falcons were to score, they go for 2.
Right?
Oh, sure.
If they did it earlier to tie it, they better. If not, I'm going to be downstairs at the Atlanta locker room door looking for Dan Quinn later on.
Knocking on the door.
They went for it back in their own 15-yard line.
They were absolutely go for it.
So third down and 10. So they get, can the Dolphins hold for 2 downs here? Third down and 10. 39 seconds on the clock. Sims. And he's going to be tackled from behind.
Another play by Dwayne Hendricks.
Yep. Dwayne Hendricks, another Pitt guy.
Timeout.
Could you have gone to Pitt?
Second charge of the second half.
If my mom would have paid, yes. It wasn't going to be free.
Really?
They didn't want me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
nobody wanted me. You feel bad for me at all?
No,
listen.
I don't feel bad for you, no. I think if you...
It worked out in the end. But, Akron gave me an opportunity. But, no, Pitt did not recruit me at all. But I was a 6'3", 170-pound receiver coming out of high school.
Okay.
So
that's the other part of the story.
Yeah, that's... I mean, let's not let facts get in the way of a good story. You know what I mean?
When did you went to Akron?
Correct.
And then when did you become a defensive lineman?
I played linebacker for 2.5 years, and then my senior year, the starting defensive end for us had gotten hurt, so they needed somebody to move down.
Yeah.
Everybody refused and threatened to quit the team, and I said, all right, I'll do it.
What'd you weigh by then?
I was 220.
Oh, okay.
215, 220. So it wasn't great, but I was the best option we had.
You know what, Jason? I think it worked out for you.
It worked out.
Yes. Hall of Fame inductee, 6-time Pro Bowl selection, 4-time All-Pro. Look at that. And not only that, you're a good guy, and you're a popular guy, and you're a good person. Thank you. I appreciate it. That counts a lot.
I am very blessed. Blessed to play 15 years in this league, 13 right here in my home, Miami, and absolutely love it. I was down in the field earlier talking to Dan Quinn and a bunch of the guys, and man, you just get those butterflies still.
Do you really?
Walk in that grass.
Wow,
you get in that grass and you smell it, and you want to play. You start getting goosebumps, and then you realize, oh, I forgot earlier when I left my sunglasses in the house when I had to run inside and get them, how bad it hurt to run inside. So you realize you can't run anymore.
Yeah. Well, we have 2 Hall of Famers in our booth from 2 different eras of Miami Dolphin football. One on the offensive side of the ball, Bob Griese, won back-to-back Super Bowls, and of course Jason Taylor. And we talked what he did. We have a false start penalty against the Falcons. False start with 32 seconds remaining. It'll be 4th down and 9. And well, good to have you with us. How did you feel here doing your first? I know you do the Westwood One Radio every Sunday night, the big game of the week, and now you're with us.
No, I enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys having me. A lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. And it's crazy. These TV booths are so much better than radio booths. Like on the radio, you're like in the corner of the stadium. You get one little TV for replays. This TV stuff is nice.
It's cushy.
Yeah.
It's cushy. 4th down and 9. 4th and 14, I should say. And this pass is knocked away. And
no flags.
No flags, and that'll do it. And it was a great play made in the defensive secondary.
Jalen Davis.
Yes, Jalen Davis. And the Dolphins, with 27 seconds to go, take over on downs. Here it is again.
Top of your screen.
And he turned away. That was good move that he turned toward the ball.
You're right. That ball was actually thrown a little bit late. It looked like, Bob. And
it was short.
And a little underthrown, yeah. But good job by Jalen Davis turning his head inside and making a play on the ball.
Because a lot of times they'll throw I don't mean they would have here, but they will throw a flag if you're playing the man.
Right.
And not the ball. So it pays to do that.
Those officials know this is a preseason game as well.
They want to get out of here too. They don't want any overtime either.
That's right.
That'll do it. And Dan Quinn and Brian Flores meet at midfield. And final score will be 34-27. Falcons drop to 0-2 and 1-0 for Brian Flores. Success is just a preseason game, but there were a lot of things that he'll review. And a lot of good things that you can talk about and build on. That's the story here. Matt Ryan and Ryan Fitzpatrick in midfield. 34-27 final score. We'll be back with the wrap-up in just a moment.